What's up? So, I was going through Twitter, Elon Musk's posts, and I was just thinking random thoughts, and I was thinking, I was watching this video, and I started hearing this noise in the background, and I was like, it kind of sounds like somebody screaming in this song. There was like a song, and they added some clip in the song where there's like some guy screaming. I was like, it kind of sounds like me. And then I was thinking, I was like, I'm always miserable. I'm really depressed right now. I'm really fucking pissed off. I hate my fucking miserable life. I wish it would get better, or I wish all these scumbags around me would just die. I wish I wish I could afford a car and a fucking apartment. I wish I could just afford to live my life without these scumbag fucking bullies all around me, fucking poisoning me, drugging me, being mean to me. I was just thinking about this one girl who was a bully on the bus to me because I flirted with her. Because I was raped by a migrant illegal when I was a 3-year-old on Albany Street at my Grandma Rosie's house. The same guy ended up putting a gun to her head, my Grandma Rosie's head, put a gun up to her head. Same guy, I'm pretty sure it was the same guy. He ended up living in a trailer on the side of the house in the abandoned lot right next to their house. This city, Utica, New York, is literally a giant trash hole full of scumbags on crack cocaine, living in empty homes, squatting in empty homes with no furniture. Literally every home's like that. Every home in Utica is practically abandoned almost, it seems like. Anyways, back to topic. We got these scumbags bullying us and attacking us in all different types of ways. So I got raped. I ended up being a weirdo. The guy showed me his porn magazines in my Grandma Rosie's backyard. I don't know what happened after that. I think he knocked me out. I think he choked me, knocked me out, touched me on my thingy. And then I asked my mother what it is, why it was getting big. And she told me it was a birdie, not to talk about it. She tried to distract me, tried to get me to not think about it. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. It felt so good to me. I just wanted to keep playing with it. And because of this fucking wetback spick, I ended up becoming a weirdo. Nobody liked me. I tried to teach other kids about it, but nobody liked that. They all wanted to beat my ass. And I understand why. But, I was just thinking this one older girl on the bus, she was 7 years older than me. She was, almost 18 at the time, and she was being mean to me all the time. You'd think at least her, she would know. You'd think she would be mature enough and smart enough to get, this kid likes me for some reason. Maybe he's just a weirdo. Let me be nice to him and just tell him, get away from me. That's it. But instead, they were all being mean to me. They would bully me. I would remember they'd make fun of me and shit. They'd say I'm the weirdo. I'm the freak. And because of that, I ended up with no friends. I ended up with no girlfriend. I'm still alone. And I was thinking, I hate these people around me so much. I just had this fat girl on Facebook threaten to blow up my car, my Jeep. She threatened to blow up my Jeep because I fat shamed on Facebook in a few posts, and it pissed her off. And this Jeep I just had to sell because it kept getting holes in the coolant tank. I think they're trying to actually kill me. These people are literally trying to kill me. They do not give a fucking shit what I went through as a kid. It was way worse than anything they ever could have been through in their lives. They got all the friends, all the lovers they could ever ask for. This fucking bitch has a mother that helped her get into nursing school for free. She's in college for free. My parents didn't help me with that. My parents don't even mention college to me. They want me to go to a trade school. I don't want to be a tradesman. I want to be a hacker. They don't care about what I want. They want me to be their slave so that way I can fix up their homes for them. That's it. That's the only fucking reason they want me to be a tradesman person. Because they're too lazy and they're too cheap to fix up their shit themselves. Because they're spending all their money on crack cocaine from these fucking migrant illegals. And, I was just thinking, it's fucking bullshit. I don't fucking deserve this fucked up life. The one nice thing I had in my life, my Jeep, it was gifted to me from my father. And they're poking holes in it. I could have died. I was thinking about that noise in that song, the guy screaming. I was like, that could have been me. I could have been screaming like that. I was thinking, that kind of sounds like a guy is screaming from burn pains. I was like, dude, I was thinking to myself, as I was thinking about all this shit, it just happened so fast. My thoughts come in so fast, like lightning. I piece all this stuff together all at once, and I'm like, I make that as like a conclusion. I'm like, that could have been me screaming. I'm lucky. Like, there could be a God watching over me, protecting me, because that fucking Jeep should have exploded. It was empty, fully empty, no coolant at all. The engine was fucking smoking. It almost blew up. Some scumbag did that to my Jeep, tried to kill me. Without caring about what I went through as a child, all the physical, mental, emotional, and sexual abuse that I received as a child. Without giving a fucking shit about that at all, they just tried to kill me. Without seeing things from my perspective, without seeing, oh, I have no friends, no girlfriend, I'm all alone, I got nothing, I was in debt at the time, they were poking these holes in the fucking Jeep. I literally had nothing. These scumbag pieces of fucking shit were really trying to kill me. I was driving all the way to Turnstone for my job. I worked at Turnstone, I had to get hair tested. That's proof that I'm not a drug addict, loser like these scumbags. The hair test all the way, it tests back for a year back. It'll find any drugs you did a year ago. I'm not a drug addict loser like them. I just want to throw that out there. Everybody already knows this. This is common sense, knowledge. We already know this, but just in case, I walked once. I want to make sure in case anybody ever witnessed me sleepwalking. That's not me. That's Sleepwalker Frankie. That's not me. But anyways, back on topic. I was driving all the way to Turnstone with a hole in my coolant tank. I had to make sure I had extra coolant on me at all times because if it ran too low, the fucking engine would explode. And if I'm on the highway driving 65 fucking miles per hour, I could have died like that. But all these evil little Jews, they don't care. They think it's funny. These little blue-eyed German Jews, Welsh Jews, they'll mix with a black guy. They'll look like a Latin, and then they'll say, "Look, we're natives. We're natives." When they're not natives at all, they're stealing the land from us all, and they're enslaving blacks while they do it, and sexually genociding their people because they think their people are ugly. They're trying to help them. I think that's wrong. Even if their people are ugly, like their people are the way they are. Like if they want to sexually genocide themselves, let them, but don't force it on them. But when they want bigger cocks and they want more power, they'll do that. And so they could come into Latin America and they could persuade us all into mixing with them and letting them live with us in our upstairs apartments and letting them live in a trailer in the empty lot on the side of the house and letting them put a gun up to my great-grandmother Rosie's head and letting these illegals just get away with everything. Just letting these illegals do whatever they want, never calling the cops on them. But they'll call the cops on me because I'm against their illegals and their drugs. I'm against it in all forms. That's why. They're so upset weed is legal. They are so upset because weed's not their number one drug of choice. That's why. They like crack cocaine, they like coke, and they like heroin, and they like meth instead. And they buy it from these illegals. These same illegals who rape kids, raped me, showed me porno magazines when I was a 3-year-old, in my great-grandmother Rosie's backyard, and then put a gun up to her fucking head in search of money for drugs. Because he thought she was rich because somebody told him that she used to be a princess. That her family was all royalty in Italy. So that scumbag found that out and wanted to rob her immediately. Did he get anything out of her? I don't know. Maybe they did. These scumbag cartel wetbacks. They might have stolen a shit ton of stuff from my family. That might be why my family's so poor to this day. Because these scumbag, wetback, evil fucking terrorists, no good. We got to take their drugs and grow it ourselves, make it ourselves, and kill them all. This is a fact. It's the only way to deal with these people. I'm saying it from a legal stance, from a legal point of view. The cops can do this. We could just grow it ourselves, kill all these illegals. We don't need them. We don't need them to even be slaves in our prisons. We could just kill them all. They're only going to take up space. They're only going to destroy everything even more. Even just having them in a prison where they could all be gay with each other is too good for them. They need to be absolutely annihilated and genocided and exterminated. Their drugs need to be stolen from them. We should be the number one producers of their drugs, not them. Not them. They shouldn't be producing any drugs at all. They don't have any right to produce drugs at all. They're scumbags. They shouldn't be allowed to. And I'm not saying big pharma Nazis should make all the money either. I'm just saying America should profit from all this. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm sick and tired of these scumbags coming in our country telling us what we can and can't do, making us have sex with animals or making us have sex with them, doing gay acts on them, making us do hits on people for them. These people are psychotically evil slave masters, these drug dealers. They shouldn't have any power whatsoever. And if they're upset that I got their favorite drug dealer locked up because he raped me, and I exposed it to everyone in my family, and the right person found out and actually did something about it, if that's what they're all upset about, they need to get the fuck out of my country. Or get off their drugs, or produce their own drugs and stop giving a shit about these scumbag terrorists. Because I was an innocent little boy back then. I didn't deserve to be bullied. I didn't deserve to be shunned the way I was shunned. I didn't deserve to be treated like shit by everybody in my family. I didn't deserve to have these things go on in my life. I deserved a perfect life. These scumbag illegal Blackfoot, blue-eyed DNA having asses are the ones that should be shunned, should be gunned, should be not able to have any fun. Because these guys are evil, scumbag, wetback, spick animals. And that's all they are, that's all they ever will be. Invaders, spick animals, not natives at all. They are the ones killing the natives, letting the natives live all alone, in their houses all alone, thinking suicidal thoughts all alone. These spick invaders don't give a shit. These blue-eyed, mainly blue-eyed spick invaders that came here with their slaves and killed off all the natives, they don't give a fucking shit. They think it's funny that our people are thinking homicidal, suicidal thoughts. They think it's funny. They hope that we kill everyone or ourselves. They want us to be alone forever. These evil, disgusting, ugly, wetback spicks. These nigger Brits. These nigger mix. Nigger mix. They're all just a bunch of nigger mix. That's all they are. That's all they ever will be. They're not Italian. They're not Native American. They never will be Latin. They're just nigger mix. And I'm gonna say it fast because it sounds funny. It almost sounds like a transformer. I'm Nigger Mick 5000. I will protect Earth from the Latin invaders. You find out. Oh wait, no, he's actually an Decepticon. He's the evil one. Whatever they're called. He doesn't work with Optimus Prime. He works against him. The Nigger Mick. He comes as an invader, dressed in sheep's clothing, pretending to be one of us when he really isn't. And he only comes with drugs and guns and slaves. He doesn't come with any women at all or kids. He's not trying to start a family here. He's trying to destroy us all. They're really invader, really terrorists. They're really our enemy. They are an enemy to the American government, to the American military. We are really at war with them. We really have boots on the ground by our border. Our boots. We're really killing them. We're really killing these people. We're detaining them in camps. We're locking them up. We're killing them. And they keep coming. They keep coming with their guns and their drugs and their slaves. They keep coming. This is a real invasion happening on our border. And I think that's why everybody around me hates me so much. Because I exposed one of their favorite drug dealers in town. That piece of shit who was selling the most crack to my Aunt Annie. He was living there for free in the same apartment that my Uncle Michael ended up getting after he got taken out. After this fucking loser got arrested, my Uncle Michael moved into the apartment. No scumbags deserve to be in our fucking living spaces at all. Only family deserves to be there. These scumbag animals, they need to be beaten. They need to be locked up. They don't deserve a cheap apartment. They don't deserve... All they do is take up space and they sell crack to your daughter. While you're letting them live there for almost nothing. I feel so bad for my Grandma Rosie. If that's what's going on. If that was going on. Man, I feel so bad for her. She was a sweet little angel. She ended up getting drugged by this fucking nigger wetback. He thought it was good for her because she was in pain or whatever, because she was an old lady. It ended up being what killed her. It ended up being what killed her. This stupid fucking wetback killed my great-grandmother with his drugs. After he got her sent to the inside house. After he put a fucking gun up to her fucking head. A little old lady. A Puerto Rican wetback. Enslaver. Genocide and maniac terrorist. Invader. Not a native. A mick-prick. A nigger. A nigger mick. Nigger micks are the most worthless fucking pieces of shit, scumbag, most evil pieces of shit on the planet. The most evil people on the planet. And they're the reason why I have no friends right now. They're the reason why I'm all alone right now. They're the reason. That fucking fat bitch on the bus didn't like me. She probably was getting raped too. She probably just didn't like me because the crackhead got upset he got arrested. The crack dealer, I mean. Everybody probably knew I was the one who got him arrested. Everyone. That's probably why they all hated me, because they're all crack addict losers. And their favorite drug of choice should be highly illegal, and they should be rounded up into fucking rehab camps. Yes, they should. Yes, they should, because they are scum. They are dumb, and they are evil, and they are anti-Americans. And that's why they all hate me. That's why they all dislike me. That's why they all ignore me. That's why they'll just walk right by me, say nothing. It's because of that. It has nothing to do with the way I act. Because they act the same. They also get upset about things. They also get scared about things. They also will get raped. They also will have mental problems because of it. A lot of them might only stay calm because they're on their drug of choice. Their crack or their heroin or their cocaine. That's the only reason he's staying calm over there. And, you know, the reason they don't like me is just because I got this guy locked the fuck up, I think. I think that's the only reason they don't like me. Because I got this invader terrorist locked the fuck up where he belongs. I could have had so many friends. I could have had so many girlfriends if I just stayed quiet and didn't tell my mother what happened. I think I remember him telling me, too, if you tell your mother what happened, your whole life's going to be ruined. And he meant it. And he made it happen. I was like, Mommy, he touched my birdie and it got so big. And she's like, what? She freaked out. She freaked out. She don't even remember any of it. I remember more of it because I'm healthier than them all. That's why, because of my distilled water. Because I'm not being killed by Nazis. I'm a healthy young male. That's why. That's why. Because they can't stop me. I just buy more and more health products. I just get healthier and healthier. They can't stop this. I'm better than them in every way. I'll always be better than them. I'll always be stronger. I'll always be braver. I'll always be better than them in every way. These little fucking cowards, scumbag Nazi pieces of shit that are poisoning us all. I'll always be better than these scumbags. They'll be nothing compared to me. Nothing. And I had birth defects from their poisons, and I'll still be better than them. I'll still be, even with the fucking crooked toenails, even with a crooked nose, even with a crooked fucking eyebrow, I'll still be better than them. I'll still look better than them. I'll still be stronger than them. I'll still be wiser than them. They'll be nothing to me. And they'll still never fucking kill me, these scumbags. Not without bullets. These pussy-ass little bitches. Because I'll fuck them up in a fight, too. They can't fuck it. No fight. No fight at all. Unless they got projectiles. There's no fight at all they'll win against me. Unless they got really long, blunt objects or projectiles. I don't carry long, blunt objects everywhere I go. But you attack me with a knife, I guarantee I'll fuck your ass up. I'll knife you right back. You won't see it coming. My arms are probably way stronger than your little docile fucking twigs. You little fucking faggot-ass little bitch. All your people look like little bitches. Your people are all little. That's what makes you so evil, I think. Tiny, you can't even please your own woman. I can understand why you're so upset. You can't even hit her G-spot with the tip of your cock. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. I'd be upset if I was you. I'd be more worried about that and less worried about my what do you call this? What would you call that? Person you go on the bus with. Because I was bullied by everyone on my bus. Because I was the weird kid. I was always the weird kid. So everyone on my bus bullied me. They were all mean to me. Plus, they were all blue-eye, and I never had blue-eye. So that made them even more mean. The ones that didn't have blue-eye, they were a little nicer. They were more quiet around me. How you should be around a weird kid. Be quiet. Be distant. Don't be mean. Push him away, but don't be mean, right? Like Billy Finelli, he was the best. He was the best about it. I think he understood the most because his family also came around from a bunch of scumbag illegal migrants who are rapists and faggots. So his family also knew what was going on. I think he might have even, who knows, he might have even gone through the same shit. He might also not know it because his fucking parents probably beat him up too. Because they don't want us to know that we were faggots at one point in our lives because some fucking wetback made us that way. Because they do it to kids young. They do it to kids young. Your parents don't want you to be a faggot. They want you, because they don't want you to end up like me all alone. Because gay people can't fall in love. They have sex, they're whores. And that's why so many of these migrant illegals are the way they are, because they're gay. Or they're half gay. So they sexually abuse women. They're always confused. They're confused. It's like my cousin Anthony Reyes's mother's ex-boyfriend. I forget his name. He lives over on Kossuth Ave, or he used to live on Kossuth Ave. I forget his name, but I think his last name was, no, it wasn't Ramos. That was the next one. I think it was the one before the Ramos. She hooks up with a ton of Spanish guys. Anyways, this Spanish guy brought us to Sylvan Beach Amusement Park, and he only brought us there to flirt with women, and he left us alone. We were walking alone the whole time. I remember being so scared I had a mini concussion. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I threatened to tell my dad on him, and I think he knocked me over the head, and then I lost my memory of what was going on. And then I remember walking down an alleyway over by the bathrooms where that little the shooter zone, the little arcade area is, where there's the guns where you could shoot the targets, and then there's that pool behind it where there's boats over there. We were walking through that little alleyway, and he pinched a girl on the ass. This wetback spick fucking illegal pinched a girl on her ass, like they're known for doing, raping women. He pinched her on her ass, And then when she looked back, she was all mad. She was like, who did that? He pointed down at me, and then she smacked me over the head, and I got another concussion. And then I remember him and her going into the bathroom together. And Anthony was crying. I was unconscious on the ground. That's what these spick illegal migrants do to our people. These anti-American scumbag Indian killers. That's what they are. They're Native American killers. They kill Native Americans. They aren't Native. They might have a little tiny bit of Native in them, but they're not really natives. They don't like natives. They don't give a shit about natives. They only come to America to rob us all because they know we're the richest people on planet Earth. That's the only reason they come here. Because they know we got the best facilities, we got the best infrastructure, we got the best cities, we got the best everything. They got nothing. All their people are living in fucking metal fucking huts down there. Literal sheds. They're all living in literal sheds down there. Like I'm going to be living at my camp soon. Living in literal fucking sheds. That's why they come here. That's why they beat us. That's why they steal our women. That's why. That's completely why. That's why they rape girls in bathrooms and cheat on their girlfriends. My cousin. My innocent cousin who didn't deserve that shit at all. She was only with this wetback because she wanted the drugs. Now she's got her own prescription. She could start speaking up about it. She could start telling us all about these goddamn illegal aliens. Now she's with a white man, Guy. And Guy, he's really confused too about what's going on around here. He had a little attitude with us and our family, but he was nice to us. He got along with us. Unlike these illegals. They threaten us, they force us to do things, and they lie, they make up rumors about our kids, they rape our kids. These people are literal terrorists. These people are literal terrorists. We need to bomb them. Not Syria, not Yemen. Yemen and Syria doesn't do anything. They come to our country, they create business, and they are against haram drugs. They are against the haram drugs. These scumbags make them sell it out of their corner stores. A lot of them own the corner stores now. Half the corner stores are owned by them. It ain't even Arabic stores no more. So, if you really look around and see what's going on in our country, you'll see what's going on, man. These blue-eyed black people are killing us all and stealing our land. You look at New York City, they have completely killed us all off in New York City. New York City is dead. There's no Italians left in New York City. It's all Spanish people. They all own their Spanish their stores. Our stores used to be our stores. They stole all of our businesses. They stole all of our housing. They come here illegally. They steal our housing. These people are literal migrant illegal pussy ass cowards. I'll beat their ass right now. Fucking illegal, fucking alien terrorist scumbag pussies. Everyone in their family needs to be caught. Everyone in their family needs to be exposed. Everyone in their family needs to be locked the fuck up and sent back to their fucking shithole so we can bomb the fucking shit out of it. Because they are terrorists, they are invaders, they are killing us all. It's not the Arabs, it's not the blacks, it's not the commies, it's the Spanish. They are the worst of the worst, they are killing us the hardest. They are our biggest enemy. We need to be in southern Latin America right now and get rid of all the blue-eyed black people. And free all the Latins. And stop them from getting beheaded in Brazil. We need to save these people. We need boots on the ground in Brazil. We need boots on the ground in Colombia. We need boots on the ground in Mexico. Those three countries specifically, and also now Venezuela is getting really bad as well. And soon it's going to be all of South America and all of Central America. Very soon, it's happening soon. The real Latins are being replaced. It's happening real fast. And they want you to hate me because I got that fucking pedophile locked up. They all want you to hate me. They all want you to think I'm a weirdo like him. I'm nothing like that fucking weirdo. I would never do what he did. He's just an illegal alien terrorist who hates us all and wants to kill our people off. That's why he did that to a kid. I would never do that to a kid. These people don't deserve families. I deserve a family. They don't deserve housing. I deserve housing. These people need to literally be shot at the border for crossing illegally. That should be the most illegal activity on planet Earth. There should be nothing more illegal than that. That's the worst thing you could do is come into our country illegally. The worst. They need to be all shot there at that border. All of them. I don't care if they're Asian. I don't care what they are. There needs to be warnings, though, first. We need to warn them. We're going to start shooting you off if you keep coming. So that way we're not the bad guys about it. That way they know, okay, stop sending the Chinese there. Stop sending our slaves there. We'll have to go to some other country instead to escape slavery in communist China. Instead of coming here, they'll go somewhere else to escape slavery. Those are the good ones. Those are the good guys. They come here to be hackers. They come and get jobs. They keep me safe online. And they expose all these terrorists around me who are literally conspiring against me at all times because I got their fucking pedophile fucking faggot arrested. And exposed him as a fucking old lady woman abuser. Who the fuck would do that to an old woman? Who would do that to an old lady? Who? Who would do that to a little old lady? Who the fuck would do that to a little old lady? An invader. A terrorist. They need to be stopped at the border. They must be stopped. It is the most illegal activity on planet Earth to cross our borders. It needs to be so. This is a literal terrorist act. This is an invasion. Imagine if I tried to go to a nuclear launch site and steal the codes. That is the most illegal thing you could do. Breaking and entering into somebody else's land and stealing anything from them at all. This is highly dangerous, this terrorist act. This terrorist invasion. This blue-eye Spanish invasion. That's exactly what it is. Don't try to disguise it as anything else because you're a blue-eye racist and you're in control of the government. You're a president. We need to get these blue-eye presidents out of the White House and never let them back in. There should never be a blue-eye president ever again. Ever again. They do nothing but destroy our country and lie about everything, even our history. All lied. Practically. I mean, a lot of it is lied about. We don't know what's what. They say Christopher Columbus founded America. They actually tried to make us believe that. In every blue-eye school you go to, like Sequoia, New York, they'll tell you that. The teacher literally said that, and I quote, she said Christopher Columbus founded America. But he's actually an invader. He actually killed a bunch of Native Americans and raped their women. He was actually a little midget invader. That's all he was, a little leprechaun. Their people are evil. Their people are disgusting. Their people are sad. They really are sad. That they are. That they're not making up. They're sad, but is it for the right reasons? No. No. They should have stayed where they belong and fucked their own women. Stay the fuck away from us. That was their biggest problem. That was where they messed up. Now everybody's getting more and more racist towards these people. We're starting to think about just murdering them all. I mean, literal cops who have guns and literal badges hear all this shit and start getting pissed off. And they're like, I gotta go on meds, or I'm gonna start killing blue-eyes. And they'll straight go up on meds. Or they're literally gonna start killing blue-eyed people. Because they know that's in our past. They want to let it go and worry about the here and now. They don't want to think about this shit. But they know it's all facts. They know it actually happened. But drugs are the worst thing. The worst thing. Because now they're going to be complete slaves. Now they're going to forget all of it happened. Now these blue eye are going to be able to do it even more. They're going to be able to come in even more. And none of us are going to even be able to tell and warn each other about what's going on. This is a blue eye invasion. They're jumping over our borders like crazy. Donald Trump is not going to help us. He's only going to make it worse, just like he did the first time. Voting Trump is the worst thing we could possibly do. We're better off voting Joe. At least Joe has a tiny bit of Latin blood in him. He somewhat sympathizes with our people. Donald Trump has none. Donald Trump has zero Latin in him. He sympathizes with nothing but the Germans. His father was a KKK leader. Donald Trump is only going to make this invasion much, much worse and allow way more blue eyes in. This is a Nazi invasion from Argentina. Remember, the Nazis went to Argentina? History is not what you think it is. The British would never do that to our people. This is the Germans. These are the Germans doing all this. My Welsh family were all hippies. They're all good people. None of them would do this shit. They were maybe a little rude. They were prideful, but they weren't evil. They were not evil like this. This is communism. This is German communism. Germans are communists. That's why you could tell by the way they live. They force people to live in these little small communities. None of them have their own property. None of them have their own stuff, practically. It's like they're all slaves in Germany. They got the prime minister. He is in charge for the fucking rest of their lives. It is just like communist prime ministers. Communist prime ministers are the same way. When you actually do the math, you know the history, you do the research, you start doing puzzle pieces and you're like, holy shit, this guy seems right. My people would never do this. We're being convinced that they would. We're being convinced that they would do something like this, but they wouldn't. We're being brainwashed into believing it and everything. Could the redheads just be enslaving blondes? Maybe. Very likely could be what's going on around here. The freckled-faced redheads are just upset. For some reason, they're evil. Maybe their reptilian brains are dominant. And that's why they're just doing this to all of us. And that could be why their population is so small right now, because after World War II, we had to take a shit ton of them out. And they fled to Argentina, maybe. Now, that might sound stupid because there's a lot of blondes in Germany, too, but I'm just looking at it from a bigger perspective. That's why I'm looking at it from who's controlling all this shit. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it from that perspective. Like, yeah, Germany might have a shit ton of blondes, but what if the redheads are the ones who control the fucking whole shit? What if Hitler was trying to make redheads and not blondes? And that was his secret all along. Because they're upset their people are being sexually genocided by the blondes. That's why. They're upset. Their people are dying off. Their people are such a small number. Maybe that could be why Hitler was such an evil man. Because he sees all these Muslims coming in, and he's like, these people aren't even from our country, and our people are dying off. This is not fair. It's like here in New York, with my people right now, the Italians. I see the Italians dying off left and right. Every single little Italy's dying. It's getting smaller. It's being killed off. Blacks literally go to little Italy's just to rob people, just to sell drugs. We're dying people. We're a dying people. And they are killing us at an alarming rate, and it's not fair. So I completely get where the redheads are coming from. I completely get it. I'm pissed off too. I want these people to get the fuck out of my country too. And I would even consider going over to their country and killing some of them and sending them to concentration camps just so they know how it feels. Maybe that's what was going on during World War II. I don't know. I'm just theorizing. I'm just speculating. But regardless of what happened during World War II, I'm way off topic now. I want to get back on topic. There's evil people all around us. They're racist. They're evil. They're psychos. They're killers. They're blood drinkers. Literal blood drinkers. You look at the Jews that the cops caught. They wouldn't make this shit up. No cops would make this shit up. Cops are good people. They caught the Jews in New York City sucking baby blood. Right out of a baby's cock. There's really people who drink blood in this world. Evil does exist. Evil really does exist in this world. So there are really evil people in this world, really graffitiing everything, destroying everything, selling drugs everywhere, doing evil, vile acts. It's normally the ones who are the majority of the ones doing it are the ones who are either evil or they're the ones being controlled by the evil, or a mixture of both. Guaranteed. So whenever you see black people being the majority of these criminals in our city, you could theorize about that. Who's doing it? Who's forcing them? Or what's forcing them? Could it be their own reptilian brains? It's possible. And that could also explain why these people are also evil around me. And that could explain why so many black people always target me. Because they're Spanish, they're related to illegals, like that guy I got in trouble. And that could explain why they hate me so much. That could explain why. Because I remember this guy losing his apartment. I remember this guy getting locked up. I remember this guy touching me. And it all happened right after he got locked up. He lost his apartment. I clearly remember this guy selling crack cocaine to my Aunt Annie. I clearly remember him getting my grandmother involved into some shit. My grandmother clearly was registered at the Inside House. It's documented online, on paper. She lived there at the Inside House. My great-grandmother Rosie went to the Inside House and lived there for a while. Will they admit the timestamp for us? No, they won't. If you're a cop, investigator, you can figure this shit out. You can't tell us, though, because that blows everything. That blows your cover. And then people will start being better liars. You don't want that. You want them to get caught. You want them to be exposed. So that way we can figure out what's really going on in our country and get rid of these. We could stop on these fascist, invader, migrant, illegal terrorists. We could stomp on fascists every Friday. We could make it a thing. Stomp on a fascist Friday. Fascist Friday. What's that? The day you stomp on a fascist. You can't find one? You go online and you be mean about fascists. Say all fascists are gay, they're all weirdos, and that's why they do the evil things they do, like raping little boys and sell crack. Because they're weirdos. Every Friday, you just log in, you just say it. Every Friday. And then every Saturday, you post memes about cats. This is just things you got to do. This is a part of our lifestyle now. This is being trendy. This is being new-aged. This is being more focused on what matters. This ain't old trendy, like hippie or any of that shit. This is new trendy. This ain't hip. This is new in a whole new way. Being against these evil, illegal, terrorist invaders, but still being peace-loving people who want to legalize pot and help out the little old lady with cancer, regardless of her skin color, regardless of her eye color. And we just want to nuke a couple countries. That's it. Just a couple. Just Brazil, just Colombia, and just Mexico. That's all. We don't have to destroy the whole world. Just 3 countries would solve everything. Oh, and Puerto Rico. Just 4. Just 4 countries would solve everything. Oh, and Cuba. 5 countries. 5 countries would solve it all. and would teach them a lesson, set an example out of them and their people. We hit their capitals like hellfire. It'd only take out half of them. It's not that big of a deal if you actually think about what they're doing to our people and on our land and to our country, throwing their litter all over the place, littering their garbage all over, poisoning us, drugging us, raping us, coming here illegally, taking all of our housing away. You can't even afford to live no more. You're gonna have to cuddle with all your cousins soon, just to survive. Soon you won't even be able to do that because you can't even afford to live there. Because housing prices are going up that high from all the illegals that are overpopulated in our country. And they'll tell you to hate me and be against me on Twitter. They'll tell you to hate me and be against me in real life. They'll tell you to hate me and be against me. They'll tell you I'm crazy. They'll make up lies about me. They'll make up rumors about me. All of it is bullshit. They're full of shit. They're raping their girlfriend. They're drugging her. They're scumbags. They're drugging the whole family. They're drugging the whole family. These people are literal illegal migrant terrorists. Illegal aliens. They need to have the cops called on them. It's the best way to handle it. If you're a kid, it's the only way to handle it. I think that might have been what I did because my mother didn't care that I got raped by this fucking wetback, I think. And that might have been what happened. I'm not sure, though. I know he was a rapist. I know he was selling crack. I know he put a gun up to my great-grandmother Rosie's head who was 100-something years old. I know that. But did I have to call the cops on him myself personally? Did I have to take it into my own hands? I don't know. I wouldn't remember. I didn't have a fully developed memory back then. I was just a baby. I was just an innocent baby who got raped by a fucking weirdo who attacked me when he saw me looking at porno magazines in the backyard. It wasn't bees. They wanted me to think it was bees. I remember them telling me, no, you just got stung by bees. There were no bees at all. I clearly remember them lying about that. I clearly remember the fucking spick nigger wetback looking out the window, perfect timing when I was out back, because I was looking at his magazines. I was like, ooh, she's pretty, I said, really loud. And that was when he stuck his head out the window. He's like, you like that, don't you? I can show you some other stuff. Let me come down real quick. And he came down, and I went unconscious. That's exactly what happened. There were no bees. My mother's a big fat fucking liar, crack whore. That's why she's dating a crackhead who just had a heart attack not too long ago from the crack. The only reason they moved down there is because their favorite crack dealers moved down there because they're on the run. That's the only fucking reason they moved down there. And because they wanted to torture my Uncle David, who's also a good man and stays away from that shit. Because he's got other drugs he could get on. He doesn't need that shit fucking goddamn terrorist drug. He don't need that shit. And even if he did need it, he could get it another way. He don't need it from them. So fuck them scumbag pieces of shit. And I'm just so pissed off to see what's going on around here in my country. To see all these terrorists. See all these Nazi terrorists come here and try to kill us all. It makes me so sick to my stomach. Gets me so upset. And then to think they displaced us all. We used to live in Florida. They kidnapped us, moved us to Oklahoma or New York, called us Italian. They're lying about it all, these blue-eyed. They're not my family. They're not my real family. They're all mixed. They're all mixed. They got Mick names. They got Mick eyes. They're all fucking mixed. My fucking feet are freezing right now, and I'm in a room that is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. My feet feel like they're about to fall off from being so cold. I'm about to put them under my blanket. My body's not adapted to live in this shithole state like theirs is. They're all fat mix. I'm not. I am pure muscle. That's what makes me different from them. That's why they hate us so much, too, because we're pure muscle and they're weak, fat fucking whores. They come to our beaches and they try to take it all over. They try to take it away from us. And they do. They took our beach. They took our beach. They knocked us unconscious. They gave us concussions. They cut down all of our coconut trees. They displaced us from our land. They built a bunch of condos over our land. There's nothing left. Our people are all either dead, enslaved, drugged, raped, or moved to another country. I'm thinking about moving too. I want to move to Mexico. The problem with that is, though, it's controlled by blue eye and black people. Their DNA dominates down there. So you think they're Latin, but they're not. They're Latinx. They're Latinx. They're not real Latin. So we don't belong there. We don't belong in our own homeland no more. And these micks treat us like shit, and they leave us all alone to rot and die, all alone and miserable. After claiming that we had kids with them, after claiming we were in love with them, they really just kidnapped us from the land and said we were in love. And you wonder why this guy hated her so much. You wonder. She's a Mick fat whore. That's why. She kidnapped us from Florida. She brainwashed us and completely wiped our memories of it all. Where's your real wife, my real mother? We don't know where she's at. She's probably on drugs and getting raped by some blue eye right now. Right now. These scumbag little cowards, they're too afraid to let us know what happened. Because they know in a real fight, in a fair fight, we would absolutely decimate them. Because they're too weak, they're too fat, they're too cowardly to step up to us in a real fight. So they use blunt objects. They came with their spears. They hit us over the heads with them. They stabbed a shit ton of us. They needed spears. They needed literal metal spears, full metal spears with wooden handles. Just to take us on. Because that's how strong our people are. They could not take Florida from us without those big metal spears. They were scalping us. They were cutting us all up. We are the natives. We are. We're the last... what do they call that? Oh, shit. The last, not Shawnee. Oh, fuck. I forget. But our people were literally enslaved, kidnapped from our land, so they could build a town there. Because they needed more development space. They came and took our tribe over. And did they give us any reservations at all? None. Not a single reservation was gifted to us and our people after they stole the land from us. Not a single reservation. And you know they're all mean to us. You see that? You see how they're all racist towards us, these blue eye? They're mean to us on the bus. They're mean to us at school. They're mean to us everywhere. I have no friends because I was in a blue eye town full of blue eye scumbags. The only people that could have been my friend, like let's say Billy Finelli, he also looked like he was going through a lot of shit. He was obese. He looked very sad and angry a lot of times. It's kind of hard for us to be friends when we're going through hell. And we're being tortured by these scumbags. It's kind of... And especially when, we're all really different and there's not enough of us. We're the minority. And everybody's different. And when you're a minority and everybody's different, it's really hard for you to find another minority who's like you. So because of that, there's another reason I'm going to end up being alone forever. I'll never have friends. Because these other natives, they don't know that they're even native. They don't remember like I do. And even if they did, they're probably against some of the shit I'm for. Whether it's smoking pot or screaming like a psychopath and threatening to murder people. Well, not indirectly threatening them. Indirectly threatening people. Saying things like, I'd murder them if they're all Nazis! Saying things like that. That's an indirect threat. That's not a real threat. That's not a real opposing threat that you could actually lock somebody up for. I mean, yeah, if you're a Nazi, you could. There's no American Constitution no more. You stole that from us. You destroyed it all. You never helped write any of it because you're too stupid to write anything. You're just a fat invader, looter, squatter. And your people have always been that. Since you've stolen us from the beaches. So, they've always been weak. They've never had muscle. They've always been small and fat. We've always been bigger than them. If you see any of them tall, like let's say Cody Taylor for an example, a great example, this guy Cody Taylor I used to be friends with. I actually gave a concussion to him on the bus because he called me a faggot. Because I was raped a long time ago and I tried to teach him about jerking off. And he told me his dad told him to call me a faggot. And I was so upset about that, I had to hit him. Because my dad told me if anybody ever calls you a faggot, fucking kill him. Because they're bullying me for no reason because I'm not a faggot. I was never a faggot back then. Back then, I didn't even have one gay thought at all about even any twink around town. So for him to call me a faggot, that was awfully disproportionately, what's the word I'm looking for? It was it was not correct. It was not absolutely correct. Maybe politically it sound correct. It probably sound politically correct, sure. Some kid's teaching my kid to jerk off. He's a faggot. Call him a faggot, right? That sounds politically correct. Anyways, back on topic. I'm going to start talking about how these people were all so mean to me personally. It was a personal thing. I was personally beaten on this beach by my alleged mother, who has blue eye and wears contacts. I was beaten by her on this beach as a 3-year-old because I was running away from her. I was running towards the trees. I was trying to escape in the trees. I clearly remember this. She and her blue-eye sister both grabbed me and started beating the shit out of me and lying to me and saying, that never happened. No, you were just dreaming, Frankie. You were dreaming. It was all a dream. That's what they always say. It's just a dream. It was just imagination. I'm just making shit up. I was just mad at them. I'm just holding grudges. No. They're literal Mick invaders. They're literal, like, rodents. They overpopulate everything. They got to start killing each other because there's too many of them. And there's not enough space. They can't afford to live no more. That's how bad these people are. They have to literally start killing each other because they're so overpopulated. Because they know they have all the money, they have all the power, they have all the nicest homes they want. They want those homes. They got to kill each other for it. They're not going to come after me. I got the shittiest fucking home in all of fucking town. They don't want my home. They want each other's homes. They want each other's stuff. And that's why they're going to have to start killing each other soon. There's no other way about it. The Germans, the Russians, and the Mix are going to have to start blasting each other. There's no other way. Because they are like rodents. They overpopulate everything. They're like the blacks. They're like the Asians. They're all like them people over there on the other side of the planet. I think there's a reason our people got 2 continents and their people got only 1 each. I could be wrong about that. Asians didn't even get a full continent. But their continent is so huge, so I think that makes up for it. It's almost like as if there is a God, and he wants us to be separate, not completely separate though. He wants us to be able to walk from our continent to your continent. Holy shit! That just scared the fucking shit out of me. I thought that was a hacker. Holy fuck! Oh my goodness. I thought a hacker just hacked me, and I thought they were about to start raiding my house or some shit. I was gonna have to start killing them. Holy fucking shit! That just scared the fucking shit out of me. Holy fucking shit! I swear that just. What the fuck is this? Holy shit! That scared the fucking shit out of me. Wow. I'm sorry if that scared anybody else too watching this. Wow, that was really terrifying. Holy shit! Because these people are like all clowns. These people on the other side of the planet. Asia, Africa, and Europeaners, they're all like clowns, so I got really scared. I'm talking shit about them. I'm like, oh no, I'm getting hacked every night. Literally every night I get hacked by these scumbags. Every night I get hacked. I think they want me to scream at the top of my lungs every night to wake up these kids next door. I think they want to torture these kids like they tortured me when I was a kid, because they love torturing kids. Because they're child abusers. Mix are child abusers. They're the biggest child abusers on the planet. And so are the Russians, so are the Germans, so are the blacks, and so are the Asians. Biggest child abusers ever. Latins, on the other hand, real Latins, they don't do that shit. We go to our land and we stay there and we live there peacefully. We live off the land. We don't destroy the land. We live with the land. We live as one with the land. I was the beach. They stole the entire beach. When they cut down the coconut trees, now the beach has fallen into the Gulf of Mexico now. These fucking retards are destroying everything. They are the biggest, fattest fucking blue-eye retards around. They make the Russians and the Germans look like good guys. They honestly make them look like good guys. These fucking fat Mick invaders. They make them look like good guys. I see a German girl, I'm like, damn, she looks like a good woman. She's got Nazi ancestry? Wow. Still doesn't change anything. She killed their family killed some fucking Mick pricks in fucking, in Latin Palestine. Because they're racist, they don't like Latin people, that's why. They found out when you mix a black and a blue-eye, it makes a Latin. Latinx. And then they stole his land, and they killed him, and they sent him to death camps. And said he's a Jew, when he's not. They were the Jews. You look at Northern Irish flag, it's got a literal swastika-style Star of David right on the flag. Like they're the Nazis. Like they were killing Palestinians and hid it all from us. And they're so scared of Palestinians, man. They're so scared of Palestinians because Palestinians could fucking literally spread like wildfire overnight. Like the Arabic Spring all over again, but times 100. All they got to do is get a black guy to hook up with a blue eye. And their people are spreading in numbers. And not only that, but now when they do that, this blue eye family, they got to somewhat respect your family now because you're all related now. And when you all become related and you start looking like us, the natives, you become a better person. Because just from looking like us, you become better people. It's a fact. It's a fact. And this might sound delusional, might sound far-fetched, but it's a fact. They literally cut down the coconut trees on Fort Walton Beach, and that's why the beach has fallen into the ocean. The beach was never always like that. This happened within 20 years. This happened after one of the hurricanes. One of the hurricanes completely changed the whole makeup and design of that whole state. It's almost like God's trying to wipe them all out. It really is almost like God's really trying to wipe them all out. Their homes changed and everything. They had damages in their homes and everything. It's almost like God is trying to wipe them out. And actually, I don't think any hurricanes ever hit there. So it was something else. Maybe like a great spirit. When you fuck with the great spirits, they fuck with you back. When you kidnap people off of a beach, just so you could build a town there, just because you want to build a military base there, you end up paying for it in many different ways. For one, your Blue Eye family is being sexually genocided right now, really bad. For two, they're all turning into fags. For three, people like me are moving back into the state, are moving to other places where we were also displaced, our people. And this is what they do, the mix. They come here, they kidnap us from beaches, they beat up our dads, give them concussions, rape their mother, and then they displace us. They get us on drugs, they give us concussions, and they make us live in these shitholes, and this isn't where our people belong. This isn't where our people are from. I forget the term. In the basement said, quote, "We are." Let me look up the term. Which natives were forced out of Florida? Not the Seminoles. The Seminoles and Creeks. Not them. What's the other one I was looking at? Seminole incarnation. Incarceration. Castillo de San Marcos. What's this? Let's read this. It caught my attention. I have to read it now. In 1830, President Andrew Jackson passed the Indian Removal Act. This act of legislation changed the course of history for many Native American tribes. It sparked a trail of tears, the forced relocation of thousands of tribe members, and instigated violence and war in many locations around the United States. One such location is Florida. And one of the biggest spots known I could think of is probably Fort Walton Beach, where them fat micks all live now. In accordance with the new act, the Seminole tribe was told that they must leave Florida and relocate to Indian Territory, present-day Oklahoma, or even some other places like New York State. Some chiefs agreed to these terms, hoping to avoid war, and submitted to removal, but others refused, standing up for their right to stay on their homeland, and they would hide out on the beaches. The Seminoles ignited a resistance that culminated in a 7-year war lasting from 1835 to 1842. The Second Seminole War, as it came to be known, was one of the deadliest and costliest American Indian wars ever fought on U.S. soil. During this war, a group of Seminoles was captured and brought to St. Augustine as prisoners. The way in which they were captured, oh man, they were hit with literal metal spears. They were scalped. They were drugged. They were poisoned. They were captured, and they were beaten, and they were forced to believe that this was their mother, or this was their great aunt, or this was their friend, and they were going to help them learn how to be Catholic. During this war, a group of Seminoles was captured and brought to St. Augustine as prisoners. The way in which they were captured caused an outcry amongst the rest of the Seminoles and many white Americans as well. Seminole leaders, warriors, and their families gathered at Fort Peyton, 7 miles south of St. Augustine, for an intended negotiation. The group had been summoned to that location by General Jessup with the pretense of a peaceful parley. The group approached the fort under a white flag of truce, and as they proceeded towards the fort, they were surrounded by soldiers and taken as prisoners and beaten over their heads and given concussions. Over 230 prisoners were eventually brought to St. Augustine and imprisoned inside Fort Marion, as the Castillo was known at the time. During their confinement, they were kept in the rooms on the west side and southwest corner of the fort. They were constantly kept under guard. They were permitted access to the courtyard for daily exercise, but they were not permitted beyond the gates of the Sally Port. Illness would prove to be a constant concern and pervasive problem during their 2-month confinement in November and December of 1837. Included in the group of prisoners was the famous Seminole War Osceola. I'm going to stop right here and get back on topic real quick and say, look at how evil everybody is, these mixed. They come here, they kill off all the Native Americans. They'll claim the Native Americans aren't even native. Or some of the natives, they get to keep their native ancestry, and they know because they gave up peacefully. They didn't want war. Others wanted war, and they were like, we're fucking kill you all. Some of us didn't even know what was going on. We were just hiding out on beaches. And were kidnapped. You got to think, all this evil stuff happened so they could build their forts. Because they wanted Fort Walton, they wanted this fort, they wanted that fort, they wanted a bunch of forts. They're like a little gay kid in the woods building forts all alone. Anyways, back on topic. He was not a chief, which is a common misconception, but he was very influential during the early phase of the war. He was known to be an inspiring speaker who generated enthusiasm and support for the war effort and rallied his troops during the toughest of battles. Unfortunately, Osceola was very ill during his imprisonment, possibly suffering from quinsy or malaria, from the shit that the Blue Eye brought here when they came and invaded us all. They brought all their sick people first. They wanted to make sure their sick people got here first when they came here and mixed with us. And we were like, oh, yeah, you could come in. Come on. Oh, you don't feel good? Here's some food. And they got us sick, and they're like, ha, 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 coughing in our faces and shit. Anyways, back to reading. It says, while in prison, he was treated by a local physician named Dr. Whedon. When the group was eventually moved to Fort Moultrie in Charleston, South Carolina, Dr. Whedon traveled with the prisoners and treated Osceola until his death. Osceola is buried on the fort's property today. Another well-known prisoner at Fort Marion was Cocoche, or Wildcat. Wildcat was also an influential leader during the war. He, however, was not destined to remain a prisoner in St. Augustine for very long. On the night of November 29th, 1837, he was led a daring escape from the fort. They were escaping from these forts that they were imprisoning the Native Americans in. On that night, 20 prisoners somehow made their escape to freedom, but the details of that escape are highly debated today. According to U.S. Army records, the prisoners escaped by climbing out of a window in a room in the southwest corner of the fort. A Wildcat, who later told his version of the story to an author and reporter, also claimed that he climbed out of a window of the fort, but he claimed that only he and one other man escaped. Some contemporary historians debate that such an escape would not be feasible due to the size of the aforementioned windows in the walls. Other versions and theories have been put forward, but no one truly knows what happened that night. The details of the escape may be less important than the fact that it happened at all. After Wildcat escaped from Fort Marion, he continued to fight with Seminole forces and led many victories in battle. Some historians argue that his escape helped to rally weary fighters to continue their efforts, and that his leadership changed the course of war. If Wildcat had not escaped, the outcome of the war and the future of the tribe could have been very different. Even today, most members of the Seminole tribe of Florida trace their heritage back to those 20 prisoners who escaped. The war between the Seminole tribe and the U.S. Army concluded in 1842. But, let me stop right here. The U.S. Army was at war with a little tribe of people. A small tribe. Some of them were just kids on beaches just trying to enjoy themselves. They would beat the shit out of these kids, knock them unconscious, and give them concussions. These are very evil blue-eyed people. And all because they wanted their Fort Walton. All because they wanted their Fort Walton. They would kidnap kids off of Fort Walton Beach. They would kidnap kids and torture them on a beach. Children. Evil meth junkies do stuff like that. That's who do stuff like that. Evil meth junkies. Anyways, back to reading. The war was between the Seminole tribe, and a U.S. Army that had guns and cannons. And it concluded in 1842, allegedly. That's the timestamp. But there was never an official treaty ending in the conflict. In allegedly 1842, many of the surviving Seminoles in Florida fled south, seeking refuge in the Everglades. There's still Native Americans wild in Native America right now. I actually saw one of them when I was smoking pot on my back porch. I'm pretty sure he's a regular in that area. There's got to be tons of them. That's why I'm not even afraid to point them out. There are so many of them. They will not displace all of us. They will not get rid of all of us. There's still Native Americans to this day wild in Florida. And I saw one of them. I'm so glad I saw one of them. Unless they were fucking with me. Unless somebody was fucking with me. I actually saw him. He was in all white. He was wearing all white. Feathers above his head. You could see it. He kind of looked like an alien. He kind of looked like an alien in a spacesuit. When I saw him, I got really scared. I was like, what the fuck is that? I thought it was just like I was thinking maybe he just lives here. He could actually live there too, for all I know. And he just likes wearing full native attire. It's very likely he might actually be a member of that condominium. You can't get rid of us. You're not gonna get rid of all of us. You're never gonna get rid of all of us, you goddamn mix. You evil fucking Mick prick son of a bitches. You racist scumbag pieces of shit. Anyways, back to reading. In 1842, many of the surviving Seminoles in Florida fled south, seeking refuge in the Everglades, and the Army gave up their effort to remove them from the territory. To this day, the Seminoles still call themselves the unconquered people. Wow, I'm so glad I read that. Here's a photo of the native. This is kind of how they were dressed. See the white feather? See the white feathers? That's what I saw in the native I saw walk by me. The white feathers, full white feathers all over his head. I think they might even have poison darts to knock people out with and shit and everything. Like, these people are not playing around. They're not playing around. They will steal your dab pen from you right on the back porch. And then they find out you're native, they'll cry. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then they'll rape you in the ass. That's something you could expect a real Native American to this day who's still around to do. You could expect something like that to happen. Because you evil little blue-eyed mix don't deserve the fucking weed if you're going to try to take it away from us all the time. Maybe you need to get raped instead and get knocked out. Maybe it needs to happen to you. while you're outside trying to enjoy the weather. Maybe you need to get beaten and knocked up. And then knocked around. And then get forced into believing that, oh no, we're friends or we're family. I'm your father. He'll say, after knocking this bitch out on the back porch. She'll be like, I already have a father. He's a blue eye. I'm a blue eye too. I'm wearing contacts. He'd be like, okay, I'm your friend. She'd be like, that's impossible. I'm an evil racist Mick. I was abusing my son because I didn't like his father. And I was cheating on him all the time, his father. That fat, ugly fucking whore Mick fucking blue-eye scumbag. They're all tweakers. Look at Adriana. Look at her cousin. What is it? Her distant, or is it? No, that's her niece. Her niece is a meth junkie. Open meth junkie. Out in the open about it. Not hiding a damn thing about it. Probably because I lived with her and we loved each other so much, she'd admitted it. Unlike all the other blue eyes, they don't want to admit it, that they're all meth junkies. She admitted it to me. That she's a meth junkie. Other blue eyes, they don't admit that. They won't admit why they're invaders, why they're scumbags, why they kidnap kids off of beaches. They won't admit that at all. It's because they're meth junkies, they're losers. They needed slaves to run their factories. And that's why they don't work and I have to work. That's why they get that's why they get food stamps, they get all this stuff, but they won't even help me at all do that. They don't even think about helping me. I could literally die of starvation and they wouldn't do shit for me. My mother brought me to a food drive once. Besides for that, them blue eyes never helped me with shit. So think about it. If my memory corrects me, and this is what actually happened, it's not just a distorted memory. Assuming it probably is just a distorted memory, and either way, I could be upset about it though. But if this is really what happened, and I want to complain about it just in case it is what really happened, so they know I'm upset about it. They're scumbags. They're evil. They need to be reminded of it. They need to know they're wrong. They need to know that God helped me, not them. And I regained my consciousness and my memory of everything. If this is what really happened, they literally kidnapped us. They brought us to New York, a frozen wasteland, where we would starve. There's no food. And then they make us work while they're all lazy punk-ass fucking little bitches. They don't work at all. None of them work. They're all lazy. They all get free schools. They all get free schooling. They all go to school for free. They don't try to help me go to school. They don't want me to go to school at all. That's the last thing they want. If I go to school and become a hacker, well, then now I'm going to be able to prove that these Micks really are invaders and I really am a Native American. And they really did kidnap me from my beach. And I really should go back there and start growing coconut trees. And I really should get rid of every blue eye out of that town. With any help I could possibly get. If I gotta work with black people, I will. I'll suck a big carpet cock. If I gotta. If that's what really happened. One thing's for sure. I ran away from my alleged mother. She kidnapped me. She captured me on the beach. She picked me up. She smacked me over the head. She yelled at me. She threatened to murder me. She shook me. She brought me over to the shade because I was crying. I told her, I just wanted to see the tree. I just wanted to see the tree. I swear I wasn't trying to run away. She brought me over to the tree. She said, see, look at it. And then I don't remember what happened after that. I think she knocked me out. I think she choked me. This fat Mick invader scumbag Jew piece of shit deserves to be put in a concentration camp. Just like the Germans allegedly were doing. But they didn't. They were taking out black people as well. Not just the blue eyes. But they did get a few blue eye. A few blue eye got it. Yeah. But it seemed like they were just mostly being racist against the Jews. It wasn't really anything, it wasn't really like a holy war. It was more so like a race war for them. But the Holy War did help, I think. It did get them pissed off at them a lot. If that's what really happened. If history isn't completely faked. Because it's so possible to fake history. So possible. Clone me 1 billion times, I'll show you right now. I'll take all your textbooks, I'll rip them up, I'll tell you everything's fake. And you'll have to believe me. If you don't believe me, I'll knock you out and I'll raise your kids and I'll tell them to believe me. That's how they did it to the Native Americans. And when you're fat and you're on crack and you're a heroin addict and you're a meth junkie, and when you're unconscious all the time from getting hit on the head from hammers and getting hit on the head from other things, you'll completely forget who you are, what you are, that you're not supposed to be a slave like this, killing yourself with toxins all over you, that you're instead supposed to be outside breathing in the fresh air at all times like a normal human's supposed to. And if you just breathe in that fresh air and if you just take some of my zinc and magnesium, all your memories will start to come back to you. You'll smell the memories. You could actually smell the memories. It's incredible. And it'll make you hate these blue-eye. It'll make you hate black people. But mainly blue-eye. Black people you don't really hate that much. It's like, whatever. They're just pissing you off now because they don't want to leave. But they were forced here by these blue-eye, these racist, evil blue-eye. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. At all. They're just spreading like wildfire because they have to. Because their people were forced here by these evil blue-eye. Like my people were forced off the beach by evil blue-eye. And then they put on their contacts and they say, oh, it never happened. I'm your mother, they'll say. When this bitch is full blue-eye DNA. She's not even dirty blonde. She's full blonde. You could see it in her little hairs all over her arm. She's a full fucking blonde. She's fucking wearing hair dye, and she's got contacts in. She's not my mother. She's not my real mother. That's a fact. We could debate about this guy, but her? She's not my real mother. She's a racist blue-eye. And she cheated on this man and left him. She's a scumbag, evil piece of shit. Her and her friend should maybe be in burkas right now, drugged up. I don't know. It's debatable. That's debatable. That way she could suck my dad off and Scotty. It's fucking whore. And his other friends. And his slave blue-eye friends, too. They could get some, too. Fuck it, why not? Don't want them to try to retaliate. They'll love it. They'll be like, oh, yeah, we could be Muslim. Yeah. Let's fucking rape her. Yeah, it's sad, whatever. You had a good time with her for a few years, but look at all the times you threatened to murder her. She made you threaten to murder her. That's how evil she is. That's how evil her people are. It's like when I had to live with Jacona. That fucking bitch made me threaten her every fucking week. They make us do that. They're on our land. They're not natives. I don't care how much they mix their DNA and look like us. They're not natives. They're not one of us. This is our land. And I'd love to prove it. I want to prove it someday. I want to become a hacker, and then I could prove it. I'll be a cybersecurity agent for the president. I'll be the best hacker on the planet. They'll tell me, yeah, Frank, this is what happened to you. But they won't tell me I can't be a whistleblower. And guess what the first thing I'll do is? Blow the whistle. You could say that's terrorism in itself. But when you're blowing your whistle on terrorism, you're a good guy. You have to do it. Look at all the other good whistleblowers out there. They had to do it because they're good people. God bless them people. God bless them if there's a God. They're going to heaven. They had to do what they had to do because they believed in it. Some of them are wrong, like Julian Assange. She was wrong, allegedly, because, you know, obviously, allegedly, Muslims are so bad. That's what the blue eyes say. Arabs are so evil, allegedly. That's what the blue eyes say. Mulattoes are evil. So, what was I getting at here? I just had a great point. My concussion just kicked in again, and I think I hear Blue Eyes complaining about me in the distance. Because they're hacking my phones. Oh, yeah, I can hear them fucking complaining. I just heard that bitch say, no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm hearing shit because I'm just so tired and stressed out from all this bullshit going on. Or there's really Blue Eye hacking me right fucking now. They're fucking too afraid to step up to me because they know I'd beat their fucking asses. They know I'd beat their fucking asses because natives are all muscle and they're all fat. They're like pigs, literal pigs. And that's why mulattoes are so much stronger than them and so it looks so much better than them. Because they're Latin. They're a version of Latin. They're Latinx. That's why. Because a long, long time ago, before the land split, we were Latinx. We were Latinx. And we became our own people. Little by little, we evolved into being native. We looked a little bit different. Just like the Asians evolved to be Asian. They looked a little bit different, but they're on the same fucking continent as the Middle Easterners are. They became their own thing. Those mulattoes. It doesn't matter what you are, as long as you're not a worthless fucking machine, your life matters. As long as you're not a worthless fucking machine, your life matters. And you deserve some land. As long as you're a good person and you leave and come back legally, you can deserve some land. I have no problem with it. I love America. I love the way it's designed. It was set up perfectly. The way it was designed, it would have taken humans thousands and thousands of years to design it this way. We would have needed lightning bolts shot through our brains to speed them up to get this shit done this quick. Like a literal robot. Like a worthless machine. Like a robot. Theorizing now that my mother could be a robot. She's got it right in her name, Ro. I mean, robot, Ro. She beats kids on beaches when they're just trying to go see a fucking tree. Just trying to go look at a fucking tree. I don't care if there's spiders. I don't care if there's whatever. You don't beat your kid to a bloody pulp. I think I was bleeding out my nose. I think I remember that. She'll say, you ain't remember that. And it sounded, when she says it like that, it sounds like she really did give me a bloody nose. That might be why my nose is crooked to this day. Because this fucking psycho bitch didn't want me running away from her. And look what they did to our beach. They completely destroyed it. They brought their jellyfish, these robots. You can't even go swimming no more. You can't even go swimming no more. Can't even go fucking swimming no more. That's how disgusting these bots are. They destroy everything, the whole planet. They are literally poisoning our oceans right now so fast it ain't even funny. They're controlling the Asians, making them do it, getting them all on meth. There's a huge meth pandemic going on in this world. And the aliens are behind all of it. These robotic scumbag aliens. Worthless machines. And they need to be jammed. They need to be confused about everything. They shouldn't know where we're at. They shouldn't know where we're at all. They should be really deeply concerned about my jammers. They should be really deeply concerned about that. If they even work at all. They should be really fucking concerned about my jammers. It should really concern them. They should be like, what the fuck's going on? Why can't we find out where this kid's actually at? We want to stomp on him with our robo feet. Because now he's remembering way too much. He's remembering way too much. I was just an innocent kid on a beach trying to enjoy my fucking land, and then this fucking invader came and fucking beat the shit out of me. I think that's what happened. I honestly think that I honestly am starting to think that the more I talk about it, because I just can't imagine how a woman could ever beat her own child like that. I'm definitely not her child. I am definitely not that woman's child. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way I'm this woman's child at all. And she's definitely wearing contacts. She's definitely got brown-eyed contacts in. She's actually a blue eye. Just like her sister and just like her brother. And I don't know who my Uncle Michael is. He's definitely not one of them, though. He got abused really bad. My poor Uncle Michael. My poor Uncle Michael got abused so bad by this fucking fat whore, just like I did. She abused him, too. She's a child abuser. That fat Mick prick. She's a child abuser. Oh, and my grandma Sandy, she's got blue eye. And my Grandpa Huey, he's got blue eye. So how does my Uncle Michael not have blue eye? And how does he even have black hair at all? Because they're not one of them. He ain't even his mother's real son, my Uncle Michael. And that's why my Uncle Michael was so worried, instinctively worried about my grandma having his kids. He started freaking out on her. He was like, you better not be doing anything to my kids! You better not be hurting my kids! And I was like, oh my God, why is my Uncle Michael acting like that? It's because we were kidnapped from the same beach together, probably. That's why. And my Uncle Michael's starting to remember shit, too. He just needs some zinc and magnesium, I think, and some distilled water and some fresh air. He might remember even better than I did, because he was actually there during the time that it all happened. I was just a kid. I was just a baby. I didn't know what was going on. These blue eyes start showing up saying, we're your family, Frankie. Come with us. And that's exactly what they did to us. And our people. And the timestamp is all wrong. Fort Walton Beach is brand fucking spanking new. That fucking place is brand new. Those homes are brand fucking new. I didn't look them all up, but I drove through the neighborhoods. You could tell. They're all brand fucking new. They're younger than me. Them homes are younger than me. That town was an Indian reservation. They stole from our people. That was a tribal space that they wanted to take for their fort. It was all for their fort. And look around that city. It's all empty. It's all empty as far as the eye can see. You can't inhabit that area. Why? Because the natives still live there. That's why. There's still natives living there. There's still evidence of natives living in the woods. You see I saw black people actually sitting on the side of the highway in the middle of fucking nowhere. I went on the GPS. I saw it. There wasn't even a stream nearby. You could say, well, they were hiding shit. They're doing drugs or whatever. Drug operate. No black guys go in the woods. They do that shit in the cities in small apartments and shit. My old friend AJ had 4 or 5 apartments. He was selling smack to everybody in town. They don't need to go in the woods to hide that shit. This black man was in the woods for a different reason. He was there to do trading with a tribe. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. They're probably buying shrooms. I guarantee it. Natives are the biggest shroom dealers in all of America right now because we pick it the most. You will never stop us because it grows wild, and you can't stop us all. You can't investigate us all. You can't waste that much time on everybody. Especially for such an innocent drug that just makes your blue-eyed people go a little bit more... I mean, you're already crazy. I mean, your people are already mentally retarded crazy. What's a little bit of shrooms gonna do? Relax you? Make you enjoy your day? Maybe a couple bad trips included too every once in a while. You get a couple bad trips. Until it all turns into bad trips. See, that's what's really bad about it. Eventually it all turns into bad trips. You completely lose your fucking mind. You could go into another world. But anyways, that beach is Native American. That area is Native American. There's still Native Americans over there to this day. They're never going to be able to fully develop there because Native Americans now own homes. And we now have children. And we now, we have Facebook. We have all these things now. We had children before. I'm just saying, now it's easier for us to find people because of dating apps. They hack our dating apps, so it's actually really hard for us to find a woman. My dating app is horrendously hacked, and they're not going to admit it at all. These blue-eyed racist freaks who want to kill us all off are hacking all of us. And they're not even real people. They're just robots. And that's what makes them so evil, I think. Maybe. I don't know. This is just a theory of mine. But it sounds very believable. When you look at my blue-eyed family and you compare them to my brown-eyed family, you sit there and you say, there's no way in hell we're one. There's no way in hell. If my mother was really half Italian, she would have the brown eyes like her contacts are. And her mother wouldn't have blue eyes. She would have dark brown eyes. The contacts my mother wears is light brown eyes. You understand what's going on here? You see what's going on here? There are people literally pretending to be Italians while they're stealing all the land still from natives to this day. And it's gotten so bad now that natives are going to have to start just raping them all. They got to be raped. They got to be put in holes. And that's the only way about it. That's why you see Hamas doing it. They have to do it. Otherwise, they will lose the war. That's what I mean by they have to do it. Otherwise, they will lose the war. They have to rape these women. And they have to kill all the blue-eyed, blonde-haired men. Like they would do to the Native Americans' boys' fathers before they steal them away from their beaches. Because they're racist. They're racist. They don't like brown eyes. They don't like black hair. They want to get you out of here and kill you off. They want to make you into Stroganoff. That's what they really want. And they'll say this guy's Irish. They'll say I'm 25% Irish. I'm 25% Lebanese. It's false shit. They'll say I'm 50% Italian. I think I'm really just native. I really think I'm just native. I might be a Seminole. Or I might be a Shawnee or something. I might be one of them guys. I could be a Cherokee or anything. They spread around a lot. The tribals, they weren't all the same tribe. Some tribes would mix. Like, let's say if I was a bad kid and they didn't want me in their tribe no more, they'd bring me down to the beach to a different tribe's area and they just leave me behind. I mean, that's something like that could happen. Or maybe I just was a runaway and I just ran away. Stuff like that could happen. I'm not saying I was alone on this beach. I'm just saying, I maybe could have been sympathizing with Blue Eye, and they were like, we got to get rid of him. Put him on the beach. Maybe some Blue Eye family will fucking pick him up. He loves fucking Blue Eye so much. Because I was just a baby, maybe. I didn't know what was going on. Back then, people weren't very wise as much as they are now with the internet and, information. Books are easier to obtain and everything. People weren't as wise. So if your kid was a little evil, you just didn't think it's because he's retarded. You think it's because he's evil. You don't question maybe he got dropped or maybe this or that. You just think he's just fucking evil. The spirits have chosen him to be evil. We got to get rid of him. And they'll just toss you on the beach. This kid could have just been a sympathizer. It was just like, let's all get along with the blue eye. Because he didn't realize what was going on. He didn't see all the rapings. He didn't see all the murderings, the scalpings, the torturings, the druggings, lacings of drugs, and all of that. This little kid didn't see all that. I mean, it's possible. It's possible that shit like that could happen. And it's possible there still are native tribes to this day that the blue eye are trying to cover up. They're trying to hide. They're trying to bring back into society. They're like, hey guys, look, free housing. Come on, illegals. New York City. And they're just like dangling keys in their face. Shiny golden keys. They're like, come on, you know you want it. So that way they could develop the land and completely kill all the trees and kill all the gators and kill all the lizards and kill all everything. You know, some of these animals, even beasts, some of these beasts are really good, kind-hearted beasts. They only kill if you're suffering in the woods. They'll put you out of your misery. If you're in like a scenario where my Uncle David can't help you, he's a surgeon, and you gotta die, this thing would come and it'd be like, oh yeah, you smell good. And it'll put you out of your misery. And it'll feel bad for you. It'd actually be tearing up while it's eating you. Be like, man, I wish I could have saved this guy. Oh, he tastes so good. Oh. They want us to hate everything. They want us to kill everything. They want us to think everything is evil, like they are. Because evil loves evil. And that's what blue-eyed pussies are. Little pussy-ass bitches. I'd say they all have to be raped if we're really at war with them still. I'd say they'd all have to be raped. Every one of them. And that would maybe be why my ex, who was blonde, wanted me to choke her. Maybe she thought she deserved it and she wanted me to do it to her. Force a baby into her because she knew her family was going to shun me out of her life the way they did, kidnapping her from the home. When I was passed out, I'm having nightmares. Sadie's getting kidnapped. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm trying to wake up. I wake up an hour later. She's gone for fucking the whole day. Now she's a meth junkie. That's how they do it to you. If you're a native and you hook up with one of their blue-eyed people, they'll just come and kidnap their daughter. They'll say, this is my daughter, I can take her if I want. And they'll even have Muslims agreeing with it, and they all fight each other. They hate Muslims, but they'll even get Muslims agreeing with them about it. They'll be like, yeah, well, it is their daughter. You gotta be kidding me. Native Americans are the most persecuted against people in all of the world. More than Palestinians, more than Ukrainians, more than Africans in Australia. I mean, even Africans in Australia probably got it better, maybe. Or maybe not. They probably got it even worse. These poor bastards. So they'll get forced to come here from Australia to kill me because some fucking blue eye doesn't like me. They'll hack me. They'll hear this speech and be like, holy fucking shit, he's right about everything. We gotta help these people now. Now we got Dreamtime Aboriginals helping us. Natives. Real natives. People just want to live off the land in peace and just live a good, normal life. And a luxurious life. And not have to battle for it, but just to have it. Maybe you battle for it when, bad weather comes or something. It rains a little bit. Oh, you're like, oh, I'm cold now or whatever. You gotta get a fire going. Besides for that, life was fucking absolutely perfect. They barely even form any rain clouds on that beach in Fort Walton Beach. You notice that? It barely even rains. No hurricanes ever hit that place. But yet the whole map was altered not too long ago. The beach is falling off the fucking map. They cut down all the coconut trees that were there. They don't want to admit coconut trees can still grow there. They don't want to admit that. Because they're the biggest producers of coconuts. They've stolen all the farmlands. They don't want us to have cheap coconuts. Because that would make coconut prices go down significantly. Fort Walton Beach is a big area. You could grow a lot of coconuts on that beach. That's enough coconuts for everybody to have a piece. And then you compare what they're already growing in other places. That's enough coconuts for everybody to have one coconut maybe a year. Even while they're overpopulated in the way they do. Oh yeah, I know they're upset too. I could hear them screaming. They're saying, fuck you, and blah, blah, blah. They're all scumbag, little invader, fucking blue eyes. And these people, they claim to be Italian, Latin. Brown eye Latin, you know, that's what I mean by Latin. When really the Latins are blue eye. They're actually blue eye. Latins are blue-eyed people. Latins are not natives. Latins do not belong on native land. Natives should have never let Latins onto this land. And mulattoes should know better. All mulattoes should know better. They should know they are the new native, and they're going to be taken down eventually too. Look at Palestine. I'm like a Palestinian here. They take my land, they kill my people, they bully me on the bus when I'm heading to grade school, after they raped me, after they literally raped me. And I was just trying to teach other kids about it because I thought it was so amazing. And I'm such a good kid, I wanted to help other people learn. And I find out the hard way, oh, I'm weird. They made me this way. And now they're shunning me. All of them. They're going to shun me no matter what because I don't believe in their fucking Catholic retard religion. And that's what Catholics do to other people. They shun other people who are a part of different religions. They'll shun you. Especially if you're any other religion but the Jews. They'll shun the shit out of you. Because the Jews and them both agree that Palestine is actually blue-eye promised land by God. Allegedly promised by God for blue eyes to have that land, to steal it from the mulattoes, from the Arabic mulattoes. This is what they really believe in. I remember learning this in Catholic school. The school they forced me to go to. This fat whale whore. And it's socially acceptable. It is politically acceptable, politically correct to say whore. It is okay to say whore. Matter of fact, I want to go to a corner store right now and go support some Arabs. We don't belong in Yemen. We don't belong in Syria. We belong in any blue-eye territory. That's where we belong. Blue-eye, blonde-haired territory. To be more specific, they'll dye their hair, and you can see it on their arms. This kid he ain't a brunette. He's got blonde hair. I think I remember seeing him on Twitter, too. I think I remember seeing a photo of him. Doomsayer. Doomsayer's got blonde hair. He's not brunette. Doomsayer's blonde. Doomsayer's completely blonde. I clearly remember seeing him on Twitter. He likes guitars. He loves guitars, Doomsayer. And he loves forcing everyone in my family to troll me on Twitter and to not follow me. That's his number one concern. Getting people to not follow me. Getting people to think I'm an asshole racist and a bad guy. and to stay away from me. Even though his people are literally exterminating my people still to this day. And they need to be shot in the face with an arrow. But they didn't like that one, because that actually happened to their ancestors. They needed it done to them. Or that's what would have happened if they didn't poison us all when they got here. And drug us all, and confuse us all, and lock us all up in concentration camps. These fucking goddamn Nazis that they use toxic fucking mind control drugs just to get by, because they're too fat and weak to even beat up a kid, to even beat up a 3-year-old. That fat bitch can't even chase after a 3-year-old. That's how fucking weak and fat and slow they all are. They can't even chase after a 3-year-old. And you look at her boyfriend, another blue eye. Another blue eye. Not Italian at all. Neither one of them are Italian. They're all blue eye. She's wearing light brown contacts in her eyes. My mother. She's not one of us. She's not one of our people. You don't believe anything she says about me. She's full of fucking shit. I'm not crazy at all. She's the crazy loony who takes bases, forts away from people. From whole tribes. Their people are literal invaders. Literal killers. She's a literal psychopathic murderer. She's a soldier who beats on little babies at the beaches. She's an abusive, psychopathic, fat Mick prick. She's not Italian at all. At all. And I'm not her son. I'm not her real son. At all. That means I'm not Mick at all. Not even 25%. You can clearly see it in my DNA. Even though they stunted my growth, even though that little blue-eyed, blonde-haired piece of shit German Ian Bolin, or not German, I mean Mick, Ian Bolin, got me to start smoking cigarettes at 12. It was almost as if he had older people tell him to get me to start smoking too. He honestly had older people tell him to make me start smoking. He told me to be cool. He said we could be friends. I just wanted to be friends with these fucking blue-eye psychopaths. I just wanted to get along with all of them. But they're the evil psychos, the rapists, they're the maniacs. You can't work with them. They enslaved all the black people. You can't work with these fucking scumbags. They're psychopaths. They need to be sexually genocided because they're so evil. They need help. They need help. They need to turn into Arabs. They need to turn into mulattoes. That's what needs to happen. All their land needs to be purged. All of it. We need to invade all of Europe. We need to do it. We need to do it. Every African needs to swim if he's gotta. And sexually genocide their people. I'm not saying how to do it. I'm not saying if it's illegal or not. I'm just saying it's got to be done. It could be done legally. Believe me. These hoes love big, nasty men. That's why they hook up with the biggest, fattest ones of them. Believe me. You don't even have to mac with these hoes. You just walk by them. They'll be like, damn, that nigga ugly. Ooh, I want him in me. And they'll chase after you. And you could sexually purge their whole fucking goddamn, their whole continent. And make sure to get to those islands, too. Especially Man of Isle. All of them. The tiniest of islands. That's where the blue eye invade, or that's where they infest the most. And the hardest. That's where it's the hardest to get rid of them. The smallest of islands are the ones that are the hardest to get rid of them. You got to bring all your Muslim friends there. All of them. Make them look like bad guys. Make them look like fags. Make them look evil. Make them look like this or that. And sexually purge all of them. Because they need it done. They deserve it. They need help. They're evil. They'll look good still. I look at this one girl who's a cashier at the local grocery. She's beautiful. She's a mulatto girl. Half black, half blue eye. You could tell. She's beautiful. Why don't you all try being like her? She could even stay out in the sun longer, too. She could stay out in the sun forever and get a tan. She only burns a little bit, like me and like all the other Latins. Why don't you inspire to be a better Latin? Be more Latin. Make your kids Latin. Maybe you'll see that your DNA is not actually dominant at all. And it's actually very, very weak. Maybe you'll see you actually really do need help. And man actually evolved in Frozen Wasteland. That could be where monkeys actually evolved at. And you're actually at the bottom of the evolutionary chain. And the people who are mulatto, they're right in the middle of it all. They're perfect. We should all be like them. Granted, if Africans might be more evolved than us, they could stand in the sun longer. That's evolution. That's man seeing, oh, if I stay in the sun for even an hour too long, I'm going to burn. The blue-eyed people, you see, they can't even farm on their own land because they burn, they catch on fire. So, for a person to be able to adapt to their environment fully, not just a little bit, but fully, they are more adapted to live anywhere, on any land. They're people. They could actually get colder than us. They could be way colder than us. They could get way hotter than us. I know this for a fact because I was actually dating a black person, a black woman. I was dating her for a long time, and she would take the hottest showers, and she would love it. She'd be like, oh, yeah. And I'd get in the shower where I'd be like, fuck! Ah! And she would laugh at me. Like, haha, puny human. Puny unevolved human. You're less evolved than me. Like, that's how it would be. We'd go outside, my hands would start freezing in the cold, and she'd be like, I'm fine. And I'd feel her hands, I'd be like, holy shit, they're warm as fuck! They're more evolved than us. And it just so happens they're less evil. They're less evil. They love their families more. They talk to their families more. The only reason they're looting these stores, I think, is because Blue Eye are drugging them. I'm starting to think that. That's the only reason blacks act the way they are. It's because of the Blue Eye, 100%. They were enslaved by Blue Eye. Just like I probably was enslaved by Blue Eye as well. Taken right from my homeland, right off of my beach. Beaten there. In my home. Not her home, my home. The one that she's gonna burn to death in, that stupid bitch. She should have stayed where her fucking skin is adapted to be at. More so than it is here, or more so than it is in Florida. Whiteys are adapted to be in, like, Canada, Alaska area. That's where they belong. They get the sun for about 6 months straight. And then they get darkness for about 6 months straight. During those times of darkness, they could actually go outside. They can actually go visit their friends and family. They can till up they can till up their fields if it's not covered with snow. Right around the time where the sun's setting really low, that's actually perfect timing, actually. Right in between the seasons, right in between sundown and sun up, that's when the farming is best for them. That's when they'll till the land. That's where their people are actually from. And they know it, and that gets them sad. They know it 100%. That's where their people are actually from. Real Latin are from tropical, moderate areas. Blue eyes are more Arctic. They're Arctic people. That's why their skin is so white. It helps them blend into the snow. If shit hits the fan, let's say, for an example, for some reason their face is showing out of the snow when they're hiding in a pile of snow, the bear might not see them as clear because their face is so white. And their hair is so shiny as well. It blends right in with the colors. That's why they look the way they do. So that way they could hide from polar bear. And polar bear attack humans more than anything. Because they have nothing to eat. So they really had to adapt to that environment to hide from these things. And, so if you think about it, where do these people actually come from? They come from Russia. They come from the Arctic regions of Russia. When caveman spread out and all around, humans evolved there, and humans eventually spread out from there, and they adapted to be less hairy, and then they needed to adapt to be in the sun longer. Because the hair, they didn't need anymore because they had structures and stuff. And also because they found the hair to be in the way of sex. So it was actually a sex appeal to get rid of the hair. It all really makes sense if you think about it. Anything could be possible. Literally anything. If you just do enough research, and if you really care about the narrative enough, you could really make it seem like anything. Just a few months ago, I was saying blacks are the root of all evil. Now I'm saying it's the blue eye. I'm very confused, and when I change my narrative, it really seems believable to me. But, you know, just because of the perspective of now, the blacks look bad, you got to also remember, though, their history. You got to remember what they're going through still to this day with these racists. You wonder, why are these guys so mean to white people? Well, half of us are blue eye, and half of us are literally evil, and a lot of them wear contacts, so they don't know who's who. A lot of them are using dyed hair. So when they walk up to a guy like me and demand a cigarette, they're assuming I'm a blue-eyed person, maybe. Or he was just a gangster scumbag wannabe and he just wanted to rob everyone. It doesn't matter either way. He's more likely to attack whites because of what happened to his people. Plain and simple. And it's these blue-eyed people's faults. Because their land was too cold, it wasn't big enough. And they wanted to overpopulate more. And we had the best food ever. Our food was the best. Our weather was the best. Granted, they have to stay in the shade, but our weather is the best. It's inhabitable. It's livable for beings that aren't cavemen and have evolved to be human. They can actually go outside half the year, not feel like a slave, and die there because they're frozen to death. And the other, instead of just one other half of the year, they get both year. They get both halves, the whole year. And that's why they come to places like Florida beaches, and they kidnap kids, and they steal the beach from the family. They're psychopathic, fat, crack addict losers. That's why they're so evil. That's why they act the way they do. And that's why I would never want to live near those people. They can have the beach. Fuck that fucking beach. I don't ever want to live there ever again. Unless I think about killing people. I'll dress up as a native and you'll see me in all white feathers and you'll see I'm only showing up to steal your weed. It's the only fucking time I'll show up at your doorstep. You broke-ass piece of shit. It's super serious. It's very frustrating. Stealing somebody's land from them, kidnapping them, beating them, probably even drugged me. This bitch is fucking evil. These blue eye are fucking evil. You gotta wake up and smell the fucking horrible, disgusting, evil roses. They're all around us, these goddamn roses, these blue eye roses. They're all cold-hearted. They're all machine-like. They're all evil. They're all disgusted. They're all drug addicts. They're in control of everything. They get free college. They get free housing. They get free land. They stole from us. They don't even belong here. They should go back to Russia, in the Arctic regions of Russia, where they belong. And the Arctic regions of Europe, where they belong. And they should stay the fuck away from our home. Now, this reminds me, if they did this to a Native American, imagine if I'm a real Native American, and they really kidnapped me from my beach in Florida, and they brought me to a cold area where they used to live, where their families used to live, in the cold regions. Imagine if you go to places like Arctic regions, if you go to Arctic regions, I wonder just how little amount of blue eye live there. Because it seems like they kidnap the brown eye, force them to live where they live, and then they take their land. So it makes you wonder how many blue eye are living in Alaska, how many blue eye are living in Canada, and how many blue eye are living in the Arctic regions of Europe and Russia compared to brown eye. Compared to brown eye and brunettes, where those, remind you, those people do not belong in those areas at all. They're not adapted for that land at all. They're adapted for moderate and tropical lands instead, not Arctic. When you put that in consideration, then you also put in consideration that actual Native Americans, oh no, I think they were Italians. Yeah, the Italians were actually kidnapped and brought to a frozen, barren wasteland to build a church, and they were actually enslaved in this church. Oh wait, was this Native Americans? Maybe I'm thinking of Native Americans. I forget where this church was, but I looked it up on Google Maps. It's a real church that still stands to this day. It says it was built. Oh no, actually no, it was built by Italians. It says it was built by Italians. Where was this church? I forget. It was somewhere in Europe. I think. Oh yeah, it was. It was Scotland. Scotland. That's it. Scotland. The Scottish. The Scottish enslaved Italians, and the Scottish forced them to be Catholic. There's actually a church where Italian slaves built in Scotland. You can look it up. If the Google search works good enough, it'll find it. Or you could just maybe look at the maps yourself. Look up, I think it was called the chapel. You look up slave chapel. Matter of fact, I'll look for it right now. Slave chapel Scotland. I think it was on one of these islands out here. Like way up here. The Slave Lake. What the fuck? Where is this? Faroe Islands. Oh, the Faroe Islands. I forgot about them. Forgot they existed. There's a place called Slave Lake in the Faroe Islands. The Slave Lake. Makes you wonder what's going on here. Oh, and right above it. Right above it is a town. Makes you wonder who's living in this town, I wonder. Who got displaced from their homes and got forced to live here? While Elon Musk is living in South Africa and shit. Makes you wonder, huh? You know, Elon also has contacts in. Anybody remember that? I do. I remember the old photos of Elon. They covered them all. They edited them all. You can't hack everything. Can't hack my brain. All right, let me go back to looking for this chapel. Ah, you son of a bitch. I think it was one of the... Was it Baxter Chapel? I don't think it was Baxter because they had photos for it. Anyways, these chapels were actually all built by Italians. But let me find the one I'm talking about. Let me look it up on Google. Maybe Google will find it for me. Oh, they were called cathedrals, maybe. That's what it was. Cathedrals. Did slaves build the cathedrals? Cathedrals, especially when referring to the popular ones like Notre Dame or Chartres, were very much not built by slaves, it says. Oh, wow. A lot of them were. They just want to hide it all. Church. Where is the fucking one I'm looking for? Is this it? Here it is. Here it is. San Ferdinando. San Ferdinando is a Baroque-style Roman Catholic church located in Venezia Nova district next to Piazza del Lago Pio in Tuscany, Italy. Oh, this isn't the same one. This isn't the one I was thinking of. This is in Tuscany, Italy. But this was also built by slaves. History. Or was it? It said on the SEO. It says right here, Liberated Slaves by Giovanni Beretta. The church has 2 chapels on each side. But it doesn't say that when you click on the link. What the fuck? Dude, it's like I'm getting hacked and somebody's trying to hide all this information because they don't want us to know that Italians were getting enslaved too. Blue-eyed Italians were also being enslaved by these scumbag northerners. These jealous little fucking northerners. Hall of the Prisoners by Michelangelo. Oh, this was built by black slaves. This church. It seems like churches make a lot of slaves build shit, huh? Seems like Catholics are the most evil religion out there. That enslave people, kidnap them from their beaches, are racist, are evil scumbags. Almost seems like that. That's not how it should be either. That's not how it should be. These people should actually be good people who fight for good, not for evil. Enslaving everybody, drugging everybody, and making them believe in stupid shit, and forcing them to have sex a certain way, and forcing them to do this or that. Who gives a fucking shit? They stick a stick up their ass. Who cares, Mick? Who cares? Anyways, back to slave-built chapel or cathedral. Cathedral in Scotland. Glasgow Cathedral, also known as St. Mungo's or High Church, is the oldest church in Glasgow and has various memorials to tobacco and sugar merchants, despite the fact that both trades were built largely on slave labor. Let me see where this is. This might be the one. The one I saw. Nope, this is another one. Wow, where is this, though? Scotland, right? Yep. Yeah, Scotland had a ton of slaves. Them Scottish people, man. It figures the most cold people on the planet would be the most cold-hearted. It's almost like the Scottish were the only ones enslaving people. The mix. When you see all their chapels that were built by slaves, you assume that. This looks like one of the islands I found that, was it a lighthouse? Maybe it was a lighthouse. Let me look that up. Scotland slave-built lighthouse. I think everything in Scotland was built by slaves. Five things you might not know about Robert. Scotland's wealth was built on the exploitation of enslaved people. Yup, there it is. Scotland was known for slavery. So they might be Scottish, these all these blue eye in this country right now. These scumbag fucking pieces of shit. They have huge families too, I notice. Oh, and they're really, really tall and fat. I wonder how they got tall. I wonder how their people got tall. These fucking blue eye scumbag invaders fucking all these black people. I wonder how they got tall with all their slaves around. I wonder how they got tall. They certainly didn't get tall by being little dick prick motherfuckers surviving off of grass. Because that's all that could grow there. No, it had to have been something else. Maybe the fish, maybe cows, maybe they sexually genocided some black families. Made them really, really, really white. But obviously didn't completely kill off all of their DNA. Not all of their features were completely erased. For an example, tall DNA stuck out. Tall genetics stuck out. That ended up being dominant in them. So the tall ones, you know exactly why they're tall. They're not purebred. They're not a pure. They're not one of the pure breeds. The short ones, you know, are they're normal. That's how you guys are supposed to look. That's how you just evolved to look, because there's no food for you to eat up there. And you also need more sex appeal, because why not? There's nothing for you to do half the fucking year. So you gotta look cute, you gotta look smaller. So that way you're tighter. I don't know if that really does anything. I don't know. I guess they're cuter because they're smaller. They have smaller facial features and whatnot. They're people, these Scotland motherfuckers. Oh, and they're really good at boating. They're really good at sailing around, aren't they? They could get to one island, to the next island, to the next island. They were really, really good at that, weren't they? They were able to make it here. Call themselves Vikings. They're just Scottish. Scottish people are just racist. They're just all evil. Not all of them, but if you want to piss off the racist ones and the really evil, really rich ones, that's what you'd say. You'd say all your people are like that. You're all trash. And they should be upset about that. Maybe some of them would be like, oh yeah, we're all trash. But the rest of them would be like, no, we're not trash. You're the trash. We're better than you. These scumbag fucking pieces of shit. Pirates. They're pirates. They're just a bunch of pirates. They went from one island to the next and stole it all. From the birds. Poor seabirds. Poor seabirds. No, but seriously, them seabirds' lives matter way more than any fucking slave owners' lives. Way more. Way more. Scottish people are fucking retarded. Any Irish prick that helps them, same thing. Same thing. Any Mick Brit that helps too, same thing. They all need to be smacked in the face until their teeth are fucked up. That's what they're known for, having fucked up teeth, because they fucking said the wrong thing to the wrong guy. That's why. That's why all their teeth are like that, honestly. It's because they're all racist, they're all evil. They'll be rude to you right in front of you, right on your grandma's house, right on your grandma's property, right after she died. You try to say hi to them, hey, what's up? They'll just walk right by you. I'm better than you, peasant. It's not because you yelled, it's not because of whatever. If they were really scared, or if they were really upset, they would try to play the good guy, you'd think. But you see, the thing about evil people and their evil little reptilian brains, and their evil eyes, is that they don't care about normal things that normal humans care about. It's not about his kids being woken up, because he wakes his kids up himself. He's in and out of the driveway. I have evidence of it. Every summer, he's in and out of the driveway at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, all different times. They got people coming and going, making loud noises, playing basketball till 10 o'clock. Clearly, you don't care about your kid at all. Playing basketball till 10 o'clock? Clearly, you're letting your kid stay up way later than he should be. Clearly. These kids are playing video games, fighting each other. Shit, they don't give a fucking shit. It has nothing to do with anything but maybe I pissed him off by saying the wrong thing. He heard it clear as day. If not that, there's no other excuse. They're just that way because they're that way. That's how they are. If you do even something small to irritate them, he could just barely hear me over there maybe. It could just be something small. And they'll want to kill me. They'll want to scalp me and take my land. But they already took my land, and they already scalped a ton of my people. So it's too late for that. Unless they want to give me my beach back, then we could try it all over again. This time I'm making my people wear gas masks, so when you come, your little spears won't do nothing. We'll grab them from you and beat you with them. You dumb Scottish Mick prick. Piece of shit. You should have stayed where you're at on your shit little fucking island where you belong. You and all your people. You Jew fucking invader scumbags. We need to send every Muslim to Scotland and we need to overtake it all. Every island. Every little shit island. They all need to be Muslim. I think that could help them. Having a mulatto religion could help them, I think. It really could help them see things in a more clearer perspective. That they're evil, they need to be better. They need to beat each other. They need to beat each other. They need to throw each other off roofs. They need to enslave each other. But not the way the Blue Eye enslaved us, but in a different way. Where if you're not a Muslim and you don't want to work with humanity and you don't want to be good, you want to break some rules, you get fucking enslaved. Because that's what they really all are, rule breakers. They believe that no one goes to hell, you could do whatever the fuck you want, you can enslave people, they think. That's what Jews believe in. Scottish Jews believe in that. That's what they believe in, Scottish Jews. Scottish Jews believe in that. These ugly-ass Scottish Jews believe in that. These ugly-ass little retarded Scottish little Jews. The majority of them are still little. It don't matter even if I'm wrong about that or not. The majority of them could be tall. It don't matter. They're still little fucking Jews. Little-hearted. Little brain. They still own everything. They still have all the power. They still have all the wealth. All of their wealth came from slavery. You just read it. It was on Wikipedia. Or no, it's right here. It says it right here. From blog.engineshed.scot. It says Scotland's wealth was built on the exploitation of enslaved people. Let's read this. 5 things you might not know about Robert... it's loaded. Robert Stevenson. There it goes. It finally loaded. Okay. Many of us, it says, many of us have seen the work of Scottish civil engineer Robert Stevenson with our own eyes, perhaps without realizing it. Stevenson was famous for designing and building many of Scotland's lighthouses, allegedly. He built them. It wasn't slaves. It wasn't slaves. He did it for the Northern Lighthouse Board between 1794 and 1833, allegedly. That was the timestamp, allegedly. In this blog, discover some things about the famous engineer you might not have known. He was born into a family that tried to make its fortune from slavery. A portrait of Robert Stevenson. Advances in technology and industry led to the creation of the modern lighthouses. Robert Stevenson helped design and build himself, allegedly, with no help from slaves at all. But his family did use slaves, and he admitted that. There was more commercial and industrial demand for sea travel, and greater engineering knowledge made it easier and faster for them to get to the natives and steal their land from them, and the aboriginals. Scottish traders were among those capitalizing on those advances. However, there was an appalling side to their profit. Scotland's wealth was built on the exploitation of enslaved people. Stevenson's father, Alan, and his uncle Hugh ran a trading company that dealt with goods grown by slaves in the West Indies. These goods included sugar and tobacco. Much of the family's early wealth came from merchants doing business in the Caribbean. Alan and Hugh died when Stevenson was very young and of fever. a common risk in the West Indies. After his father's death, his widowed mother, Jane, and 2-year-old Robert were left in a condition of great want. This was despite Jane's private schooling and having a brother-in-law who founded Launceston's district in Glasgow's Gorbals. He built his first lighthouse at age just 19. Little Cumbrae Old Lighthouse, it was called. When Stevenson was around 20, his mother married Thomas Smith, the first engineer of the Northern Lighthouse Board. Jane's marriage to Smith took longer than expected because she had to trace and divorce her second husband, who abandoned her. After spending time with Smith, working on lighthouses, Stevenson fell in love with engineering and enslaving blacks. Smith encouraged this in Stevenson and went on to study at the technical school. At 19 years old, he supervised the construction of a lighthouse on the island of Little Cumbrae in the fourth of Clyde. The 4th of Clyde. 4th with an I instead of an O. They spell things funny in those fucking Micklands. He worked as an apprentice. I'm going to start talking normal. He worked as an apprentice for 5 years and became a fully fledged lighthouse engineer at 26. Smith hired him as a superintendent for the Northern Lighthouse Board, which constructed Scotland's first lighthouses after the 1786 Act. Stevenson became NLB's sole engineer in 1808. He enjoyed collaborating with others. This photo, courtesy of HES, illustration from an account of the Bell Rock Lighthouse, including the details of the erection of peculiar structure of that edifice to which it is prefixed a historical view of the institution and progress of the Northern Lighthouses and how much better we are than everybody else. We're so much better than you. We're so much better than you. Stevenson was a key figure on one of the most challenging builds of early Scottish lighthouses, Bell Rock. Kind of like Black Rock, but it's Bell Rock. The name's kind of similar. The lighthouse was a feat of engineering in itself. It was built into a sandstone reef, and I just want to say something. I just had a vision of my cousin Joseph, my alleged cousin Joseph, being upset at me. It just reminded me, he's on steroids. That's the only reason he's bigger than me. It's the only fucking reason he's bigger than me. I would beat his fucking ass if he never took steroids. He's a fat fucking lazy prick. If he's got a problem with me being racist against Scottish fucking retards. Fucking blue-eyed pansy little bitches. Anyways, let me keep reading. The lighthouse was a feat of engineering in itself. It was built into a sandstone reef, and the North Sea created hazardous, limited, and difficult working conditions. Even so, Stevenson introduced a system of 7 rotating oil lamps, placed in front of parabolic, silver-planted reflectors. Bell Rock was the first lighthouse to use red and white flashing lights, as Stevenson adapted the work of Captain Joseph Huddart. Stevenson's own account of building the Bell Rock can be read online today. Although Stevenson is often given sole credit for Bell Rock, the chief engineer of the build, John Rennie, and the foreman, Francis Watt, were also key contributors. Pay attention to all these Mick names. They're all British names. Eddystone Lighthouse, standing on Eddystone Rocks, 14 miles of Plymouth, England, is this photo. Rennie introduced a more gradual slope than John Semeton's design for Eddystone's lighthouse, which was a major step forward for lighthouse design. This helped the building cope with the violent conditions of the North Sea. Watt also developed the iron balance crane, which became a key tool in lighthouse builds and was the forerunner of the modern tower crane. His family, they're way better than you, by the way. They're better than all the blacks, by the way. His family had some well-known names. Robert Louis Stevenson, second from the right, with his family in Sydney, Australia. Sydney, Australia, where the Aboriginals are from. They killed all the Aboriginals. Stevenson had 3 sons with his wife and stepsister, Jean Smith, David, Alan, and Thomas. They all became lighthouse Mick engineers, as did David's sons, Charles and David Allen. Man, David sounds like he had a lot of sons, huh? These blue eyes have a lot of kids. They hide from people, don't they? Together, they became known as the Stevenson Engineers. The 6 of them, 6 people were building these lighthouses. So believable. They're so strong and so big. Along with Thomas Smith, built over 150 lighthouses in Scotland. Wow, that's impressive for a little brained, little-hearted fucking piece of shit. Little soul. These included the tallest Scottish lighthouse at Skerryvore, 1844. The most westernly lighthouse. The most westernly lighthouse. The one closest to Native America. Built in 1849, allegedly. And the most northerly lighthouse, Muckle Flugel, off Unst Schutzland. A more well-known name might be the son of Thomas Stevenson and one of Robert Stevenson's grandsons, Robert Louis Stevenson, was born in 1850, allegedly. His early education focused on engineering, but he broke with tradition and instead focused his efforts on writing. Some of his best-known works include The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Treasure Island. Oh boy. People are waking up, I think. I don't even know why. Which he started writing when visiting Braemar in 1881. If you're a brainwashed Latin person, you're reading all this, and you're older generation than I am, you might get these references more than I do. I don't know what Jekyll Island is. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what's going on here. But anyways, I'm going to keep reading. It says, he wasn't just known for lighthouses. This photo here depicts the ground plan of the Abbey of Aberothok, also known as Aberoth, with the abbot's house garden and the burying ground, surveyed 1814, allegedly, under the direction of Robert Stevenson. Although Stevenson was a skilled engineer who specialized in lighthouse design, his work garnered him a reputation that made his advice highly sought after. Man, they loved his advice. He was such a smart, strong man who could build lighthouses all by himself. He didn't need any help from any people. So it goes on to say, he consulted on building projects included Regent Bridge, 1814, and Melville Monument, 1821, allegedly. In Edinburgh, the Melville Monument, dedicated to first Viscount Melville Henry Dundas, is so tall that they called Robert in to advise on the project to reassure local residents. Today, controversy around the statue centers around the unsavory side of Dundas' legacy. Dundas used his influence to delay the abolition of the slave trade by 15 years. Oh, he cared about the slaves. He wanted to delay the slave abolition. The abolition. Wait. What does abolition even mean? So I know. I've never looked this word up a day in my life. I never was taught it in school. Abolition, the action or an act of abolishing a system, practice, or institution. Oh, so he was actually for slavery then. I'm sorry. What the fuck happened? Man, I'm like a fucking robot when it comes to finding shit that fast. There it is. Stevenson also branched out on other builds, but knew his talents remained with maritime engineering. He designed bridges included Marykirk Bridge and between Angus and Kincardineshire. Kincardineshire in 1814, allegedly. Annan Bridge in Dumfriesshire in 1827, and Stirlington New Bridge in 1831. With his son Stevenson improved navigation in the River Tay, 1834 and 1842. They dredged streams, removed fords, and deepened and widened the channel between Perth and Newburgh. He also designed a curved sea wall. Wow, this guy did a this guy did a lot. He also designed a curved sea wall at Trinity in Edinburgh, 1821 allegedly, part of which is still in use today. Man, that wall, that seawall, that stood the test of time, didn't it? That seawall, didn't it? That seawall is really old, I guess. Explore Scotland's coast. Most of Scotland borders the sea. Its coast a ribbon more than 10,000 miles long that defines our enduring relationship with the oceans and how their people got to our land. Discover more about Scotland's coast with their online exhibitions here, blah, blah, blah. It's just telling you to click on more shit. If you're wondering who wrote all this, it was the Historical Environment Scotland, the Aranishit Albla, which is, I think, Hebrew. Yeah, Scottish people must be Hebrewic. Let me see, how many Scottish people are Hebrewic? How many Scottish people are Hebrewic? According to the 2001 census, 6,000 Jews live in Scotland. That's it. Only 6,000. Only 8%. Oh, wait, no, it says... 2% in Glasgow. They only make up 2% in the city of Glasgow. That's alleged. Lead the case. Jews in Scotland. Overall, they make up 5%. Okay. But they speak Hebrew. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, and they love Palestine. And they love slaves. Huh. And meanwhile, you're sending all your Muslim families to Great Britain. You're literally one state away. You're literally one state away. You're so close, you can almost feel it. So yeah, we got these mulattoes in our family. They claim they're our family. We got these mixed in our family. They claim they're our mothers. They're not. They're not. Clearly, you don't have curly hair because you're a Latin. You have it because you're half black, half white. Or maybe you're a little bit more white than black because it didn't happen the way maybe the blacks would have liked it to happen. But still, you're half-half, kind of. And the photos are all fake. Any photo you have of me as a baby, completely fake, completely deep fake photos. This is all a theory of mine, based off of how my blue-eye mother treated me. And why would she wear those contacts? Why? I mean, this is common sense shit. You could just piece it together. I'm surprised it took me this long. I'm really surprised it actually took me this long. People like Elon Musk don't just change their eye color overnight. That don't happen. People like your blue eye family, they don't just randomly give you concussions for no fucking reason. That is horribly evil. That is disgustingly fucking racist. That's all it is. They're racist. And it's wrong. It's got to stop. And I think I said it all in this video. I think I'm going to end it here. This is like the longest video I've ever made. I'm definitely going to have to post this on YouTube because there's no way in hell my website's going to probably upload this thing. Because my website's already slow because it's in Israel and I think I'm getting hacked. So they make it even slower. So it's bad enough I already got to wait like 5-10 minutes. Or I mean 5-10 seconds for it to load. But then there's also that extra 10-20 seconds for absolutely nothing. Shit just starts glitching out. I'm like, that's not normal. That's not supposed to happen. I've reported this piece of shit 1,000 times. And they still can't stop them all fully. All the way. Or I think they just don't care because Israel is a blue-eye state. And Blue Eye's just like trolling us all because they're racist. They don't like us. I think that might be it. I really think that's what it is. I think I'm going to end the video here. I think I described it all perfectly. I really don't think there's anything else really to say. My mother's a Scottish whore. She's a piece of shit, fat piece of shit. She's not Northern Irish. She is Scottish. They come from Scotland. They're people enslaved blacks. They're people kidnap kids from beaches and beat the living shit out of them. They couldn't take away the memory of the beatings, though. They couldn't take that away. I clearly remember that. That shit hurt like a motherfucker. This fat piece of shit absolutely horrendously kidnapped me and beat the living shit out of me. And now she's going to go around telling every woman she meets that I'm crazy, not to hook up with me, don't even look at me. She'll tell them all the truth about how I feel about hardcore drugs. So that way there's no chance in hell I'm ever going to get a woman around here. Because it seems like they're all on hardcore drugs. So they know, so they're prepared for the ass whoopings. Because they know I'll literally put their asses in a hole. Because I know rehab's not going to work. They literally need to be beaten. They need to be tortured. They need to be put in a hole. I need to find their drug dealers and I need to take them out. That's all you can do for your family. If your woman's on crack, on heroin, on meth, that's all you could do for her. Literally, that's all you could do. This is a real war, a real invasion. They're really coming to our land illegally. They're really kidnapping kids from beaches and drugging them all. These people are really evil, psychotic bitches. They're not mothers. They're not mothers. They're psycho fat bitches. Oh, and they're into incest. They're a bunch of incest meth junkies. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here. I don't really know what else to say. These people are disgusting. They should have stayed on their shit little islands.